drop. The mic 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 drop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Big Mike Drop. I'm your host, Big Mike, and we're tuning in tonight, and hopefully we're going to have a robust conversation. Man. So the title of this show tonight is Black Nationalism. Is it a thing in 2024? Or is it becoming a thing in 2024? I got my man Westside Kulik in the building with me today, man. Perfect person to have this discussion with. And hopefully, man, we're gonna have some special guests stopping by later today to, chop it up with the family over here. So just sit back, relax, tune in. Westside, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Good. Check 1 2. Check 1. Can you hear me? Check 1 2.
Yeah, man. Your microphone is always crisp.
Oh yeah.
Earphones a little bit though.
Yeah. Much respect. Yeah, definitely looking forward to getting into this. And yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, I got an outline for him today, man, to kind of hit the points, make sure we hit all the bullet points. It's a discussion that's worth having, I believe.
Right.
And for those who don't know what Black nationalism is, we're going to get into it. You're tuning in to Mic Drop. It's your boy, man, Big Magda Fisher in the building. So it's a good time to sit my ass down and relax, huh? Absolutely. Man, we're going to have a real discussion tonight, man. I think it could be a discussion that could go a couple of different ways, man. It could go off the rails, or we could have a positive discussion that builds. I did post a link in the video at the top of the chat. So if you want to join, man, it's an open panel forum tonight. Don't come over here trolling and all of that nonsense. We're trying to have a serious discussion. So we're talking about Black nationalism. When you hear that, Westside, what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think?
What I think about it, you already know how I feel about the term, this term of endearment called Black. But to answer your question, I think about being proud, being confident, knowing of self, knowing thy history, knowing thy lineage, all that kind of stuff. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, that's good. Put in the comments if you think what you think Black nationalism means and stands for. It's actually, man, I'm gonna go into the definition of it, man, and then we'll go back to it. We'll revisit and then see what you think then. All right. So the Black nationalism as a philosophy, it encompasses three tenets. The first is self-sufficiency. The second is racial pride. And the third is black separatism. So you did hit a lot of those points. Racial pride within the confines of a nation. Black separatism. What do you think about that?
I think that's good, because when you look at the stats, and Dick Gregory has talked about this too. Segregation versus integration. But when you look at the facts, we were doing better financially, spiritually, physically, mentally, all that kind of stuff in those times of being separated. But I think now a lot of us, well, I'm not saying a lot of us, some of us are very dependent on this mainstream WIC program. And the WIC program is the white inferiority complex. I don't say that other term and stuff like that, but it's the WIC program, the white inferiority complex. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, look, I want to start this with a video, and I want to talk about our man Clarence Thomas. Not a very popular guy in today's, society. But is Clarence Thomas a black nationalist?
I would say no, he's not.
You would say no, he's not. You may be surprised. You may be surprised. Remember the three tenets: self-sufficiency, racial pride, black separatism. What
Well,
does what do those encompass? Like what does self-sufficiency really encompass?
To me, to be able to circulate your money within your community without any type of help from any other nations, any other governments. Greenwood, for example, Black Wall Street in the Carolinas, in Oklahoma, in California, and in Indiana. That's what that means to me.
Okay. Economic.
Yes.
Also, what about political?
Yes. And when I look at the layout, even I'll say Greenwood again, that was all covered. They had everything covered to a T. I mean, just imagine, and not to get too much into that, but just imagine if that was still going on today. We would not be having these conversations. We won't be talking about restitution, restoration, reparations. We would just be doing us, and they would be coming to us for everything.
Right, right. Well, let's look at it. Political self-sufficiency. Are we self-sufficient at this standpoint? Economically, we already know no.
Right.
Politically, we already know that's a no.
Right.
So what do we need to do? And I'm starting out slow on purpose. I don't want to do all, use all my fire in the beginning. But politically, how do we go about becoming politically self-sufficient? I think that's an important way to approach this topic. Now, yeah, exactly. Big Magda Fisher said, no, in no way are we self-sufficient. No. So what comes first? I guess that's the way it goes, so I won't be so long-winded. What comes first, political or economic?
Well, in this society, economic, because the palms that get greased, in terms of these politicians, has to have the greenback, or has to have some type of pork, or stuff like that for them to get going. Right. But for us to be self-sufficient, we got to create our own political party. And I think part of that right now, certain people are realizing, is this whole blue thing or the Democratic Party is not doing anything for us. We need to skip the loo, either vote for Trump or vote for the corner or the wall, or build your own political party.
Right. Let me find this video here. All right.
Yeah, the Fisher. Yeah, exactly. Economics by far comes first. Yeah, I agree.
All right, I got the video queued up. Let's check this out here. And I want to start with Clarence for a particular reason.
Got it.
I'll say this about Clarence Thomas before we get started. Like it or not, like him or not, would you agree that Clarence Thomas is probably the most influential black man in the United States?
Most definitely.
Okay. All right. So we're on the same page with that.
But the only reason why I'm saying he's not a quote unquote so-called black nationalist is because who his lineage is going to go to and who he's married to. That's why I said that. Or what, in my
So
opinion.
you think he would miss the racial pride aspect of it?
Most definitely. Sleeping next to a white woman every day, that null and voids everything at that point.
Okay, that's fair.
Clarence Thomas is a black
Can y'all
nationalist.
hear it?
Yes, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Let me explain. According to Stanford University, black nationalism can be boiled down to three main tenets: black economic self-sufficiency,
And fair use, by the way.
black pride, and black separatism. And Corey Robin argues in his book, The Enigma of Clarence Thomas, that Thomas hits all three. Kind of. I've poured over hours of footage from Clarence Thomas's life, interviews and speeches. I disagree with Clarence Thomas on basically everything, but I wanted to dig into his ideas in order to critique them even better. And what I found was fascinating. Buckle up, we're diving deep. Imagine black nationalism as a graph. In one direction, you have the conservative versus liberal spectrum. In the other direction, you have the individualist versus collectivist spectrum. This is for the nerds, but I think that Clarence Thomas would land very quietly right here.
All right. Very important. I'll take note of that.
A conservative, individualistic black nationalist. And I do mean very quietly. He once went 10 years without asking a question from the bench. But make no mistake, Clarence Thomas has said a lot over the years, especially about race. Clarence Thomas averages more than 30 speaking engagements per year. And in nearly all of them, he makes some commentary on race.
Thought it was important for someone to assert the right to, particularly among blacks, the right to think for themselves.
But to really understand him, you only need to listen to this one speech. It's a speech he gave in Memphis, Tennessee, to a room full of black lawyers in 1998.
How does one introduce a person who is so well known that virtually everyone in this audience has an impression of him?
Let me set the scene. We're only a few years past his confirmation to the Supreme Court, where he was accused of sexually assaulting a black woman, Anita Hill. On top of that, black people feel like he is an enemy of progress. So the room is tense. Some of the black lawyers in the room don't even feel like he should be there. They see him as a person who has completely turned his back on black America.
I have come to say, isn't it time to realize that being angry with me solves no problems?
But Clarence Thomas sees this moment as an opportunity to outline his philosophies on race, particularly his ideas about black people and black progress. And if you're listening closely, you can hear these themes from black power leaders of the past. He starts by trying to level with the audience, talking about his time as a leftist black radical during the 1960s.
As I have suggested, I have been there. The frustrations with the so-called system, the subtle and not so subtle bigotry and animus toward members of my race made radicals and nationalists of many of us.
That the cry of black power is at bottom a reaction to the reluctance of white power to make the kind of changes necessary.
He muses about black dignity.
Any effort, policy, or program that has as a prerequisite the acceptance of the notion that blacks are inferior is a non-starter with me.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being.
I do not believe that kneeling is a position of strength.
I must be respected. I must be protected.
Has he said anything wrong thus far?
No, not at all.
Now let's go back. Let me finish this video first.
Nor do I believe that begging is an effective tactic.
Which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
And just a few years before this speech, Clarence Thomas wrote a judicial opinion that all but argued for black separatism. What I'm saying is that the foundation for a kind of black power nationalism is there. The problem is where Clarence Thomas lands, his conclusions. He's all for black self-sufficiency, black institutions, black self-defense. But he is also profoundly suspicious of white people's intentions, particularly white liberals. He despises the lofty promises of racial progress that don't yield adequate results.
The inverse relationship between the bold promises and the effectiveness of the proposed solutions, the frustrations with the so-called system,
which is extremely relatable. He's been disillusioned by the trauma of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination.
30 years ago, we all focused intently on this city as the trauma of Dr. King's death first exploded, then sank into our lives. The rush of hopelessness and isolation was immediate and overwhelming.
Whatever hope he had in white liberals helping Black people, that event killed it.
It was this event that shattered my faith in my religion and my country. I had accepted the loneliness that came with being the integrator, the first and the only. But this event, this trauma, I could not take, especially when one of my fellow seminarians, not knowing that I was standing behind him, declared that he hoped the SOB died.
But unlike the leftist Black nationalists that Clarence Thomas once admired, his Black nationalism diverges down a pathway of far right-wing conservatism. Black nationalist heroes like Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and Kwame Ture all saw Black solidarity as a fundamental part of their agenda for Black people. They believed that Black folks had to come together, had to work together, achieve our own collective freedom for ourselves. I think they land here on our chart. But Clarence Thomas isn't interested in the collective, the group. He's only interested in the individual now. He's given up on collective Black movements.
I am confident that the individual approach, not the group approach, is a better, more acceptable, more supportable, and less dangerous one.
I think that statement right there is what differentiates and separates Clarence Thomas from everybody.
Okay.
I think that that's where I have a sharp disagreement with his philosophy. Up until that point, I know he represents, I don't know, I guess a sellout Uncle Tom, to most people. I'm a little different. I don't quite see Clarence Thomas that way. I don't see Clarence like everybody else sees him.
I don't see him as a Uncle Tom per se. And then Uncle Tom was a good person too. The Sambos, what we got to watch out for. But I don't see him as that. I just see him as a person that is, I'm not gonna say so much bought and paid for, but they showed Marcus Garvey, they showed that other guy, that Caribbean guy. They had their agenda and they had orders from certain people. Now, at least Clarence says things that are out the box, like any thinking man would do and say. So right. I do appreciate that.
Right. I mean, he's definitely a free thinking man. Man, Raj Will in the building. What's happening with you? No, he's definitely a free thinker. He's definitely a free thinker. He's an individualist.
Right.
And that's, like I said, where I disagree with him. And that's where most people disagree with him. So when they showed that little graph, I would probably fall closer to where Malcolm X was.
Got it.
As far as the conservative collectivism.
Right.
I don't feel like in a country where people are where you're a minority and people are oppressed, and I say minority loosely, I don't feel like we're that big of a minority, but that's another show.
Right.
But when you're in a country where you're oppressed, then I don't feel like the individual way is the way to go.
Right.
He talked about isolation in this sense of isolation, and maybe at that point in time he got isolated and chose to stay isolated.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna level any horrible judgment on the man, because some of the things that he's putting in law or making judgments on in the Supreme Court,
right,
he's actually doing the right thing for us.
Yeah, and then the stuff he does for the Second Amendment too. He does some good things. He knows history. He studies law. He studies the whole script. So he's not an emotional SCOTUS, if you will. You have a lot of liberal-minded, over-emotional, agenda-based SCOTUS, type people that's sitting on the Supreme Court right now. So yeah,
right. Big Mag the Fisher says, wow, I agree to that statement. What do you do when the crowd that charges the hill is slaughtered? How do you prosper and not just survive using the tactics that the crowd has failed with? That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question. And in today's society, man, where people are able to craft their own, political philosophies and vote the way they want to and make
Mhm.
issues of the things they want to make issues with, it's hard to look at this as a collective.
Right.
It's hard to look at it as a collective because, I guess during Jim Crow and things like in times like that, there was probably more of a collective mindset.
Right.
So with that being said, we're running into a political party
Hmm.
that still views us as that collective
Right.
in the individualistic world, or in
Right.
individualistic or individualism, I should say, not istic. Ism.
Right. Right.
Big difference. One is, wearing funny little socks with your suit.
Right.
The other one
Right.
is- yeah, and the other one is, actual philosophy.
Right.
So I'm not going to make this a philosophical show to that, to that extent. I'm not going to do that, but we will touch on some of these things as
Right.
we go.
Right.
Clarence Thomas is an interesting guy. You might
Mhm.
not agree with everything he does, but I think he should get his props for being the most influential nigga in America.
Right. I agree.
That's word for shot. Let's go.
I think his words here are telling.
Better, more acceptable,
More acceptable for whom?
more supportable,
And whose support are we wanting more of?
and less dangerous.
Black solidarity has proven to be dangerous before, but only because white people felt threatened by
Sir Tice. Man, you got to hit that link. We were supposed to do a show on communism 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Much respect to you, though, fam. Sir Tice in the building. Yeah, me and Sir Tice was supposed to do a stream on communism years ago.
Right.
We're going to go there.
Black self-sufficiency.
We're going to go
And
there.
so is he suggesting that we should just give in? Should we just abandon our own collective good? I think that's the major hole in his ideology. I think his journey is really common and relatable. Trauma and disillusionment are real. I can only imagine
Looking forward to you hitting that link in an hour, man. Enjoy your dinner, though.
how painful it was for people like him to live through the assassination of MLK. But listening to his speech, I think he could stand to go back and listen to the words of King again. Justice Thomas wants to live in a world where Black people are fully self-sufficient and can pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. But Dr. King had something to say about exactly that in the last interview he gave before his assassination.
And I believe we ought to do all we can.
We did a show on this exact interview. Remember that?
I do.
And seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
I thought that was
Okay, that's it for this one.
Man.
Of course, if you enjoyed this video, consider
Garrison Hayes, man, good video. I enjoyed it, man. I think it kind of gives a little bit of insight as to how he's governing or how he's he's not governing, he's not legislating, how he's interpreting the law. Man, we got Bob in the building. Bob, we got Fishing with Camo Joe in the building. What's going on?
What up, Joe?
Yeah, man, we got some good folks in here tonight, man. Look, man, anybody want to join in on this on this discussion? Let's hit the link. I did think that it was interesting that Clarence Thomas did not trust liberals.
Right.
And I think that he may have been ahead of his time on that.
Right.
Yeah, he may have been ahead of his time on that. So we're gonna kind of break down these videos and show them in regard to what we're talking about in with the tenets of Black nationalists. So economic self-sufficiency, political self-sufficiency. We already agree that we don't have that going on right now. I do think that it's being formed right now.
Oh yeah.
I do think that within the next 20 years, you'll probably see a real strong Black nationalist movement.
Right.
Racial pride. I think identifying ourselves. Hey, Bob said Black men are voting Republican, not Black women. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's getting ready to go down right now. Now, what that's going to look like if chicks listen to Professor Crump They're gonna stop sleeping with black men. You know, that's what she said last time. If your man doesn't vote for Joe Biden, then don't give him none.
Right.
Nobody's seen Professor Crump since then.
Right.
Nobody's seen Stacey Abrams since then.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with her governor run. After that, I think she's in Thailand or some shit on an island helping people do, a revolution over there or something.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we're witnessing a paradigm shift when it comes to that as well. Voting and gender.
Right.
I would say voting has more to do with gender and sexuality on the left,
right,
than it does with me. Sir Tice said no voting, no fucking.
Right.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah, it has more to do on the liberal side with sexuality. I mean, I remember back in 2020, get your booty to the polls. I put that on my show, the little commercial, man. And the lady that did the commercial actually commented on the video.
Wow.
She commented on the video, man. I think they were right at the Blue Flame or Magic City or somewhere doing the video.
Right.
So, I thought it was interesting approach. I thought it was an interesting approach.
Mm-hmm.
He said Stacey is another communist operative. Yeah, they're all communists, man. They're all communists, and we're about to see that. And if we allow ourselves to be taken any further left, I'm not saying I'm some right-wing, MAGA person either. I mean, I'm debating on whether to sit the thing out. Last week, if voting would have been last Tuesday, I would have voted for Trump.
Right.
For real. Like if he got shot at on Saturday,
right.
Would have had to go vote Tuesday, I would have voted for him.
Right.
But then after his speech at the RNC, and he's sitting next to Jason Aldean and Kid Rock and all these motherfuckers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, maybe I'll sit this one out.
Right.
Maybe I'll sit this one out. One thing, Joe Biden isn't running, so I think we'll be okay on that front.
So you don't think he's running per se? You think he's going to step down?
I think he's going to step down.
Okay.
I think he has to step down.
Got it.
I think he has to step down. But so this racial pride, the next tenet of Black nationalism.
Right.
I believe that this new movement, and it kind of comes with the separatism as well, but I believe the delineation movement is that. I think that's where it's starting right now.
Yeah, and also too, like Camo Joe said, he said in 20 years would it still be black? And hell no, it would not. It's going to be copper colored. It's going to be the copper colored party, and who's your affiliation, who's your clan, who's your tribe, who's your territory. You're going to be a Mississippian, you're going to be a Californian, you're going to be a Carolinian, you're going to be a Floridian, you're going to be an Arizonian, whatever it may be, a Texan, blah blah blah. So yeah,
right. Well, I think once we figure out where we are.
Yeah,
who we are exactly.
Yeah,
and I think that's an individual journey. There is no high school or grade school or middle school answer to that. Nobody can tell you. You have to actually do that journey and that research on your own to find out who you are and where you're from. Now, me personally, I've already done mine, and yeah, I do have a sense of pride in that. Racially, the makeup is kind of diverse. I look like this, but the makeup is kind of diverse as you go back generations. What I do feel like will eventually happen is that we will transcend this concept of race as humanity. It's not natural. It never started out as anything that it wasn't God made, if that makes sense. God didn't split people up into races based off of color. You would be based off a tribe, right?
Right. Clan, tribe, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a race.
Yeah.
So I do feel like it's kind of going back to that, in
Right.
which case you're going to have real racial pride, but there won't be a concept of race like we know it as far as color and breakdowns.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So number 3, and Sir Tice said he'll come up in his car. You got to get some of this. Yeah, come on up, man. Come on up. Yeah. So number 3. Black separatism. Black separatism.
Right.
I put number A or bullet point A as the delineation movement. It's the act of splitting ourselves apart, first of all, by separating who's from here, who's not from here.
Right.
I think that's been the kind of driving force behind our movement that we've started here on YouTube, or been a part of. I'm not going to say we started it, but we've definitely been a part of the build up, going back and forth with people that ain't us.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what the new song out right now, right? You see what the hottest song in the world is right now.
Exactly.
Everybody's still trying to figure out a way to co-opt that song into their NBA, and you can't even play that song.
Right.
Can you really play the lyrics of that song? Oh, freak nigga.
Right.
They play that at an NBA game, but they still keep trying to co-opt that song. Why do you think they keep trying to co-opt that song?
Well, that copper colored energy and that momentum is the best in the world. It is the best in the world. Everybody comes here to visit it, to eat it, to sleep on it, to sleep with it, to experience it. So, you got to catch that comet when it comes.
Right.
But unfortunately and fortunately, our comet has stayed. We just got to understand how to utilize and propel and push out that comet where we want it to go.
Right. Right. Hey, because it's hot as fuck. Facts. Facts. Look. Hey, look. It is hot. But what they're really trying to do, I think, is more powerful than hot. I think it's more powerful than hot. I think they recognize what that song was actually doing and who that song was actually influencing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to basically put that out. So, it was a thing with Steph Curry. Did you see that with Steph Curry? Like, damn, they ain't got no other songs?
I did.
If I can't find that, man.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to do damage control too, like UMG when that was going on. They were trying to, basically do the wax on, wax off with the song and, shut it down per se, but that backfired.
Right.
Right. You got little kids singing it. You got, basically he co-opted that whole freak fan base. He hijacked their whole chip in their head and put the chip he wanted in there, and all of a sudden, they on that rhythm path.
Right. Let's see. I got it.
What did he say? He said, "Say Drake, I heard you like him young."
Oh God. Oh man, I don't even want to relive it. I know I heard it. I'm like, this whole shit is over. This whole shit is over.
Right.
He said that's what they do at co-op. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. They co-opted, man. But I think that, shout out to Steph Curry for even asking the question. You know what I mean? Because he's pointing out that something seriously is going on with this song, right?
Yeah, but Steph Curry is biased.
Let's see. Here we go.
In their exhibition game today, Steph Curry let it be known that he is sick and tired of hearing Kendrick Lamar's diss song to Drake, Not Like Us, after every Team USA win, and said, "Damn with this song. It's not the only song in America." And with that being said, LeBron James replied, "I love it," as Anthony Edwards came through vibing to the song.
That song ain't for everybody, bro.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Steph Curry for even saying that. The song is hot, but I'm kind of with Steph.
Nah, hell no, man.
I'm with Steph on that, man. No, they should not be playing that song there, bro. They should not be playing that song there.
So you rather them play some of them Drake songs where they talk about girl on girl and all that kind of stuff like that? They play that stuff there.
That Drake songs need to be played either.
Mm-hmm.
What they really need to play is that Future and Metro Boom.
Oh shit!
They need to be playing that We Don't Trust Niggas. That's what they need to be playing.
Damn.
But that's for another show as well. That's the hottest album out this year so far.
Oh no!
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Man, we're not gonna have this discussion with. I'll mute you, bro. Hey, I'll mute you.
It's like maybe two good songs in there. That's it. I don't know.
Yep. Big Mac said, "Yep, I've heard over a dozen anthologies on it. Everybody wants to be the one with the definitive decipher of his lyrics." Mike, exactly. Man, I think that if those people are allowed to co-opt that song is going to lose that spirit that it has. That song, it just ties in with the movement in the times, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that, you're going to realize how you felt during this time.
Right.
During the racial delineation movement. As far as separatism, I feel like we don't really have to actively be separatists because I think the white population is separating themselves automatically.
Right.
Now, who we will have to deal with will be these other people that are coming in here.
Right. Latinos, Africans, Asians, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And tonight we're going to get into Myron and Marcel. They had an argument, man. And I think that Myron is probably, I guess I would say, one of the leading immigrant. Let's see who we got. Man, we got Wave King in the building. What's happening with you? Hold on.
Yeah.
Yo, what's happening?
Hi, man.
Oh, shit. What's up, Terry? How you doing?
To what you guys had to say.
Man, what's good?
What's up, man? I'm super.
Cool.
I'm well. I just had to deal with a bit of family. I've circumvented most of it and got everything put together. So I'm here chiming in on the conversation. Yeah, that fire. Yeah, we definitely don't trust them for sure.
Oh yeah. World class, man. What's happening with you? Look, yeah, we getting ready to slow cook tonight, man. So like I said, I'm just kind of going through, the outline, the initial outline, and then we're gonna start filling in conversation videos, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were waiting on Sir Tice to come up, man, because Sir Tice said he has to get a piece of this conversation. Interested to see what he's saying. His mana made it clear family, Afro-Americans and Africans. And then the Spanish translation of slave driver, Negro, negra, figurative, Tirano, slave labor, especially British, slave labor, U.S. works, trabajo en de esclavos. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, but his mana, much respect to, but I'm not no African, not of African descent, not genetically African, not no Afro-American, none of that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I mean, we invented the Afro, didn't we?
Oh yeah, facts.
Yeah,
I'm
we
just saying,
the Afro, but
this scripted language here, that's put out in people's heads,
All right, his mana. If you want to come up and argue your point, we could definitely do that. As well. I don't really know the point. The point is the difference. Okay. I guess I guess I see what you're saying. I mean, you didn't say enough words to kind of illustrate that to me. So come on up and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. This is an open conversation tonight. You're joining. Mic drop. We're in the building. And we got Westside Kulik in the building and Wave King in the building, man. So shout out to y'all, gentlemen.
Y'all love that.
Yeah, we're talking about Black nationalism. Is it becoming a thing in 2024? Are we going to see it? I think it started in 2020.
Right.
You already started working on the self-sufficiency with the economics. More Black businesses, i.e. Black businesses. We got to, always make the difference.
Right.
It started during COVID, then any time in history, any single time in history.
Right.
So we're already working on the economics of it all. I still think we're on the individualistic tip, but we'll go further. We'll look a little bit different.
Right.
So the next thing is I want to show this video. I think it's CBS, NBC News. Are Black Americans being targeted for misinformation? So this is kind of gonna go into the politics, the political aspect of it. What do you think?
I would say in these times, no, because when I look at all classes of so-called Black people, they're literally doing a lot of research on who they are, history, the political spectrum, They're really doing a deep dive into what's going on and why they're in a certain place at a certain time in their life. So I would say no.
Okay. Yo, for the family, you on the big mic drop. What's happening with you?
What's happening, family? Peace. First
Hey,
of
peace.
all, man, I'm trying to
What
drop
up?
this little link for you. I want you to tell me what y'all think.
Okay.
Since we're building up here.
All right. Is this his mana?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Go ahead. Tell us what you got. What's your viewpoint?
All right. Shit. We're talking about business, right? So I think this very telling about what's going on now. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, though, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, hold on.
Put in the private chat.
Yeah, I'm about to drop it. Give me a second.
All right, while we wait for him to drop the link. So politically, are Black Americans being targeted for misinformation? I think we are, but I don't think we're being targeted by the people you think we're being targeted by. And this next video is going to show that. Let's see. Here we go. Let me look. Academic comments. It's not going to let me do it, bro. Are you on J-Stars?
You talking about me?
Yeah.
I don't even know what J-Stars is. I know one a PDF and one on like a website, man. Pull the website down with the Filipino. Can you pull up?
Nah, it's not going to let me pull it up. So what happened is the academic comments for Columbia University. I think you may have to have like a. Let me look. Hold on one second.
I think you can pull it, G.
I think you may have to.
I don't know about the internet stuff. You know what I mean? Like this, but
yeah, I don't know.
I think it's very telling how.
Yeah, tell us give us a synopsis.
Basically, it was saying like it's a difference between like the Filipino and the natives, right? And they were saying the natives are the Negroes, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of funny, like when you look at like Korea, all these little spots even did, you know what I'm saying, all over with the military.
Yeah, you're going in and out. You're going in and out.
So for the family, you saying in reference to the Filipinos and in reference to the Negroes, you're saying the natives in that region. Is that what you're saying? Because I would agree on that. If that's
hold on, look. I'm gonna pull up on my end. I'm gonna try to drop as much as I can up in here.
Yeah.
Basically, the Philippines.
I'm confused about the Philippines.
You talking about like the Negritos and all that for the family?
I'm confused about the Philippines, West Side.
Yeah.
For the family, I'm not trying to be rude, but we're talking about Black nationalism in the United States, in America.
I think it's Mike. I don't know. Signal went out.
I don't know. I'm not interested in really wasting time on Philippines, man. At this juncture, a lot of times this type of stuff happens. I'm not trying to get on to you, but this kind of stuff happens, man. We get off topic when we're talking about what we need to talk about. All right, let me get up out of here. He dropped off. He didn't even say bye.
You probably lagged out.
Huh?
You probably lagged out because he was coming
Oh.
in and out as it was. Yeah, you probably just dropped connection.
Okay. So let me get through this commercial.
So you're saying we're being targeted for misinformation?
Well, so it's something I want y'all to see, and I want y'all to see who it is.
Right.
Yeah, I want y'all to see who it is. So the name of this is saying influencers and popular podcasts fuel election disinformation among Black voters, report shows.
Wow.
Right. The analysis identified core areas that it says represent the most significant drivers of spreading false and misleading narratives for millions of Black Americans. And how this all ties in is we're being held up from, basically reaching our full potential. Excuse me, eye itching. But from reaching our full potential in the political realm of our journey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of it. And I want y'all to see who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Most importantly. All right.
Yeah.
Why can't I get this video to play though? That's the problem.
Your StreamYard is funny bone. The best thing out there, in my opinion, nowadays is that Restream or Zoom. This StreamYard is getting crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, Tarek.
Yo.
How's the weather where you at?
Man. It was like mid 90s, really cool. Now it's like 82.
Got it.
Hot as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The soil. We got you on a big mic drop. What's going on with you?
It's me, family. This what I was talking about, though. Can you pull it up? And tell me if this makes sense to you.
In the shadow of the white man's burden, Black Americans in the Philippines, 1898 to 1903.
Yeah. Can you pull that up? It kind of break down what we're talking about now. Okay. I think if we talk about this, I think we can get past this and get to some money.
Hey, the soil. Where you from, man? If I may ask.
I'm from the D. People from down, Mississippi, South Carolina, all that.
Yeah, I can tell by your accent. That's all I asked you. Yeah.
Okay, so Jonathan Dentler.
You said Jonathan Dentler?
Yeah, this is basically it looks like a research paper written by Jonathan Dentler.
Okay.
All right, so I got it pulled up.
I'm a good researcher. I'm not a good reader, though. I can't see it.
Oh no! Hold on. I mean, we're gonna need a synopsis, man. It's like 7, 8.
Oh, the synopsis is this. It's about the I'm gonna put it like this. It's about our people tricking themselves off the street, basically.
It's about our people
tricking ourselves off the street for white people. That's what I would say. That's the best way I can sum it up.
Okay. Man, we got Dallas D in the building. Yo, we appreciate the love. Catch the rewind. Yeah, catch the rewind. Man, we got Chief Red Wolf in the building, man. What's happening with you? Yeah, I'm getting lost here, man. Explain it to me. What do you mean tricking ourselves off the street? Like, talk English to me.
All right, bet. So let me be playing with you. This article shows how niggas was sent up on the white people's asses. They got sent overseas to colonize and do everything else. I think this is kind of rather funny because they went to the Philippines before they went to Africa to look for a repatriation. And this is 1890 to 1903, before the Pan-African shit. That's why I think this is very interesting. So I think it's very telling. And it shows that the blacks were conservatives who went over there. The conservative Republicans was them niggas. And then it shows that when they went up over there, that the niggas had a habit of going native, meaning they looking for other niggas over there. You get what I'm saying?
And then they were doing the world fairs, right? With that, right?
I don't know about that. I'm talking about just this particular thing from us to there. It shows that niggas went around the world setting up territories for white people, trying to prove that they worthy or something. And I think the same thing is happening right now on TV with these old boule ass niggas.
You talking about happening here in the United States?
I see. Okay. I see.
All right. That's what I'm trying to wait. I'm trying to get it back to over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about us. I ain't never talking about nobody else.
Yeah, pretty much you're saying we were known for building monuments in societies and technologies as a way to showing our worthy for other people.
No. That's not what it's saying. We're talking about creating and setting up colonies in different countries.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, we ain't talking about no technology. What you talking about is false. I'm talking about business.
I was just trying to understand what you were trying to say. You're saying that
I mean, all
we
you gotta do is pull it up and look at it, G. That's all I'm saying. I was, you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of
that's why I do what I'm doing.
pages. It's a lot of pages, brother. It's
I
like
got you.
pages. So
Gee, look,
look at
if you can get past the first 2 pages, it'll make a little sense. Then you can do what you want to do after that.
Yeah.
I think it's worthy. I think
Yeah,
it's worthy. 2 pages.
I'll take a look at it, but at this stage, I don't know enough about it to speak at any length about it.
I mean, I got you.
Yeah.
It's talking about black Republicans back in 1800 and conservatives that was going overseas to conquer other lands for American territories, man. Niggas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Gotcha.
kind of funny. You think about World War I, World War II, every war, it's always been a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about business. So if this ain't what you talking about, then, you know, I get it. I said, I fall back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to show we went wrong.
Right.
All right. Man, what up, Sean, man? Yeah, it has been a minute, brother. It has been a minute. So, are black people being targeted for misinformation?
By other black people, yes.
Let's take a look. Then we'll talk about why is it so important that we be involved.
A ton of disinformation in online black spaces ahead of the 2024 presidential election. It highlights 3 significant threats to black voter engagement in November, including getting people to not care about voting or the election at all. President Biden's broken promises, real and, by the way, made up, and stoking divisions amongst black voters via certain influencers who knowingly and unknowingly spread disinformation, like, for instance, Candace Owens, who has millions of followers on various platforms. She said blatantly inaccurate things, like, by the way, vaccines cause a, quote, explosion of childhood cancer, and that the Uvalde shooter who killed 19 children was transgender. NBC's Marquise Francis just dropped it.
All right, let's fact check that real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, let's fact check that real quick. Let's fact check them real quick. So what they say that she said that vaccines cause childhood cancer, right?
Allegedly.
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 That's what she said. Yeah, so they don't shut us down.
Right.
But yeah. But she also said that the Uvalde shooter was a transgender, right?
Right.
Have you ever seen the Uvalde shooter?
Yeah, he was a cross-dresser, you know, the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we got Sir Tice in the building. Sir Tice, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Testing. Am I on?
Yeah, you on. What's good?
Well, I literally just hit play and I heard that script. Okay, first of all, my bad. We listen, we broke bread together, you know, all this. Man, I owe you. You're right. It's been 3 years, you know, and we're going to have more of these discussions, you know. Salute to you, my man. Man, you know, I salute to your panel, man. I was hearing some great points. I'm sorry, guys. I'm driving. I can't really read you guys or whatever, but I just want to get into the communism talk. And, you know, I wanted to have great notes and draw connections, but, hey, we're just going to have a barbershop type of conversation. Like that last clip you played was such BS. They talk about influencers. How many black people, no disrespect to Candace, I don't agree with everything Candace say, but trust me, I'll rock with Candace. I said Candace, that's me. I'll rock with Candace, or I say Candace. Candace, 10 times before I rock with Joy Reid, Simone Sanders, or any of these Boulay, gatekeeper types, okay? And guess what? I do have some criticisms about Trump. So this is going to be particularly his VP choice. But I'm going to weave it in because we used to have these kind of discussions between us brothers. You know, we weren't all on one side. We weren't all on this. And it's because so many of us, I'm sorry.
Hey,
is that me?
I think it's Chief. Hey, man, Chief Red Wolf in the building. What's happening?
How you doing?
Chief eat some potato chips or something. What do you got going? Eat some chips.
Yeah, because we're hearing like literally some cracking and shit. But let me just say this, and then I'll pass the mic, and then we can get into our thing. Listen, why are they so threatened by the thinking black man? I didn't say the right black man. I didn't say the left black man, although I don't know any thinking black man that's been propagated that's on the left. Not even from Mark Lamont Hill to Dr. Rashard Ritchie. All of these dudes are puppets. And I'm not saying Byron Donalds, Tim Scott, Larry Elder. I'm not saying that they don't necessarily have a message. But goddamn, show me which party is saying, hey, as a man, you can think what you want. Whereas Joy Reid tells you or tells us, we white adjacent? Man, I ain't thinking about no goddamn white boy.
Hey.
Okay?
Yeah. No, I'm
yeah,
with
here. I'll lay my plane there and then we go. Yeah, I'll pass it.
No, I'm with you, Chief Red Wolf, man. What's happening with you, man? Let's go and get your opening statements, and then we'll get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, what's happening, man? Hold on.
Hold on. Somebody got their computer on. Somebody got the computer on.
Hey, Big Mike, I swear to God, you've not shown up into my algorithm literally until today.
Hey, it was meant for us to have this discussion. Hey, somebody has the show on in the background. Hold on, I'm gonna mute everybody for a minute. All right, I'm gonna add you one by one. Chief Red Wolf, it's you.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear me coming back through what you got going on now.
Yeah, I got echo cancellation and everything on, so I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's. I don't see how it could be me. I'm seeing something going on, but I'm not sure if it's this phone because, like I said, the feds is all up in this mug. You know what I mean?
Hey, brother, real quick. Just log in and log back.
Yeah, drop and log back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Yo, Tights.
What's good, Big Mac?
Hey, what's up? Let's go ahead and get it going. He'll be right back in here.
Listen, I guess we're just randomizing or whatever. So let me say this. Whenever I hear anything from, look, man, black nationalism, part of your title, look, man, as somebody who used to be a part of the NOI, if you can believe that, right? You know, I get it. I want to recommend a book that I know you read, Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson. You're obviously familiar.
Is that a black or white man?
Let me finish. I'm glad you asked. It's
black or white.
Bruh, let me finish my thought. So okay. It's a freely available book. Again, Color, Communism, and Common Sense, written by Manning Johnson, who was a black man that was trained in communism in Russia in the 1930s and 40s. When he came back, it was only because of his face, he realized this is some bullshit that they're selling us. Even though most black artists at the time from, goddamn it, first name start with a P, Paul Robeson or whatever, you know, Paul Robeson, see the authors, Richard Wright, shout out to Richard Wright. Black Boy was one of the first books, real books, I'll say, I read as a 10 or 12-year-old. Richard Wright, C.L.R. James, W.E.B. Du Bois. All these guys who had a lot of influence in black popular culture, why were they suddenly communist? Our AKA, I hate using this word, but just for the sake of discussion, our struggle, obstacles, issues were very different than everyone else. But here's what the Russians figured out. They can use black people to basically be the Trojan horse for all of their initiatives. So
that sounds like your author. That sounds like what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, Exactly, bro. Exactly.
So why are you promoting the book then?
My God. Okay. The author is saying this, and he's giving very detailed examples. So that's why I'm promoting the book, so that you read the ideas in this, sir. I don't make a commission from the book. What is your difference of opinion in what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you the legacy and why many people, so-called gatekeepers, have communistic or communist type thoughts. And by the way, socialism, feminism, all these things are intersections of Marxism at the end of the day. So,
Let me be playing with you. I want to be playing with you, right?
Hold on.
I don't have contention with you. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, no, but what is your point of contention? I was just describing the book.
He's giving a synopsis.
Right.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. You know what? This is my contention, right?
Okay.
You're not saying nothing that we don't already know. So
Bruh.
I'm asking, what's the solution, G?
No.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that.
Whoa. Hold up. Let me stop. 1 second. You can't say that, bro.
What you mean?
I'm the only one on there that can say that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so let me say it like this then. I agree with what you're saying, right?
Okay.
And there's a lot of us are laid up under these, musties, right? So what you talking about, we already know. Right? Infiltration, basically, from our own and to our own. That's the real problem that we got to fix.
Hey, Sir Tice, go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, first, respectfully, I'm not sure of your name. I would like to refer you by your name. But, if you don't want to say it, that's fine, because I can't speak because I'm driving right now. When you're talking, I don't know what people all know. Big Mike said, hey, let's talk about this communism thing. It's easy to talk about the present problem. I'm trying to speak on how we got here. Our beloved so-called black, somebody's got some background noise.
Everybody's muted. Come on, Sir Tice.
Okay, it wasn't me. Okay, right. I like to bring that up. So now, many of us, Big Mike, you know this, I know. I don't know what the audience knows, but I like to bring it. Like people say, we need our own stuff and all this, whatever, and I agree with that completely. But then we will use people like the Black Panthers. And then we'll say, yeah, we need to go back to that. I'm not saying you guys are this. I'm saying what the widespread sentiment is. Well, the Black Panthers were completely a Marxist group. They had no problem with the white people that promoted them and all of their pimping, drug selling, killing each other. We know about what not Bobby Seale. Oh, God, I forget who did something to who right now exactly. We look at the wrong thing, and then we think all this, hell, the damn logo, the Marxist fist, that's a Bolshevik thing from the Bolshevik Revolution. And most of these black nationalist arguments are not original black ideas. They come from Voltaire. Voltaire was who Karl Marx basically looked up to when him and Engels were coming. Yes, I know I had to go back and forth, whatever. We can get into the Frankfurt School. The person who started the Frankfurt School is who trained Angela Davis. We think all this rebellion nonsense or just being against something because, that's white. I'm not saying you feel this way. I'm saying this is the overriding sentiment. This is why we become personality voters versus issues voters. I don't give a shit where you on the line or where you on the line. How do you think about this issue? And it's he a racist. Okay, show how he's a racist, or what does that matter at the end of the day? That's what I'm saying. So now you ask for the solution. I've talked enough, and I would like to pass the mic or whatever. I'll give you the solution, but guess what? My solution may not fit into your idea.
Don't worry about that. Just give me one solution. We can all have one.
Oh, I'll give you one. Okay. I can. That's easy. Number one, we need to increase the literacy rate. So we need to get black people to start doing more reading again and stop relying on their news sources from dumbass social media. Hence
Do we
why I
need?
will
Hold
drop.
on. Okay.
Yes, hold a
Cool.
second. Let me set this up. 77% of kids who graduate right now in Black America are graduating reading at a 5th grade level. We will never be able to compete like we once did with that. But hey, we can do our stage dances when we graduate or whatever. We want to fight for that nonsense, but we want to fight for actually knowing something. That's one reason. Okay, now you say, okay, so what is the literacy rate going to do? Well, number one, it'll make people more informed. How do we promote that? Well, we
I
change the
ain't say
culture.
none of that. Was that your solution? To read, to learn how to read?
Bruh. Okay. Let me ask you this. It's a multi-part solution. If we, hell, I don't even know what the problem. I'm just
I
saying
just
this.
asked
Number
for your
one,
one
as a collective.
solution.
Okay. As a collective, we're not as informed as we should be. So yes, to read. How the hell can you denigrate reading? Go.
I
You tell
agree.
me denigrating
I
not
tell you
reading.
what. I tell you what. So if you right, you able to walk into a room not knowing how to read and look at your people and nod your head because you know what's going on, right? We need to get more sophisticated on that for one. And back in the day, what you talking about, a 5th grade education was equivalent to a damn college degree. So don't play us like we dumb.
Okay,
Stop
hold
doing
on
that
a
on
second.
TV.
I didn't say, okay, hold on a second. Clearly, you're not familiar with my knowledge of history, all right, number one. Number two, you said a 5th grade education was a college degree. That is clearly not true. The jobs at the time didn't require that. Number two, don't ever try to make it seem like I'm looking down on all Black people, but at the same time, I'm not gonna act like the problem in our face when I see other groups coming from overseas that's darker than us thriving. Why? Because
So wait a
they put
minute.
more time
You know
in their
what?
work. No. You're trying to
Trust me. Listen,
minimize.
I
You're
agree.
trying
Listen,
to
I agree with you,
You're trying
brother.
to minimize.
Brother, I
No,
agree with you.
bro. I let you talk.
I agree with you.
I let you talk. So let me respond. Then we talk. Okay? Case in point. Short attention span. Now, as I said, others
Whose
come over here.
curriculum are we learning? The
What do
same
you mean,
people that
whose
we trying
curriculum?
to get up under?
Sir, okay,
Get
you're
from
one of
under?
these types.
That's what you talking about?
This is easy. Math, okay, so math is racist, is what you're saying? Math is racist? Okay, math is racist? No, you said what curriculum we're learning. Math is
You said
constant
that we
across
need.
the board. Is it
Whose
not?
curriculum are we?
Is
What makes
math
us
not
smart to
constant
you?
across the board?
Does it make
Sir,
us
is
smart if we
math not
learn how to
constant?
be like white people, or we learn how to be
Oh
self-sufficient?
my God. Okay, you're one of these guys. I love it.
I'm
So
I'm
me
just for my
saying
own.
that
Yeah, that's who I am.
the reason that many of us right now aren't
Have an
competing
actual
in the
thought for once.
marketplace.
Just relax. Take a deep breath and have an own thought for once.
Bruh, you just said some real. Well, ask me your question.
Hey, well,
Because we were talking about we were talking about communism first, and then you guys love to derail conversations to this remedial nonsense. And when I say you guys, I mean people who think like you. So it's like, wait a minute, we weren't even talking about that. What's the solution? I was talking about how
The
communism
people that thought
has
like me
affected our thought.
got us out of slavery. The people like you is keeping us in it. That's the difference
Really? You
between
mean like
me and you.
you mean people like me?
I'm
People like me, like
done
Frederick.
talking to you,
People
man.
like
It's
me,
all
like
good.
Frederick Douglass. Hold a second. People like me, like Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington, who taught themselves and who taught a whole people or what have you to say it's about our skills and we can fight. What the fuck you talking about? You speculating about me? You have no reason or no knowledge of
About
what I
time you
do
got mad,
personally.
nigga. Good. Enjoy it.
Fuck you, nigga.
Hey, all right.
I didn't even
Look,
call you that shit.
hey,
Fuck
look.
you, nigga. How about that?
Yo,
You
can we have
bitch
a
ass nigga. That's all the fuck you guys do. I'm talking about you guys like you. You want to troll and poke and prod the bear. Well, the bear is here. Now what's up, nigga?
Can we have an intermission?
You a panda bear, nigga. You're not a bear.
I'm a panda bear. How about this? You can see me.
Hey, hold on, fellas. I'm
You
gonna
dumbass, making a point. Dumbass nigga. You just speculate on personal shit. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Go ahead,
Hey,
Big Mike.
call me a
He
democratic. I feel
came at me personally, so I had to do that.
How did we get here?
Hey, Sir Tice, hold on. Check this out. I understand what you're saying about the literacy rate. If you do any sociological studies, you'll understand that whenever you raise the literacy rate, amongst women especially, the GDP, everything in the nation goes up. Raising the literacy rate would actually be one of the best things to do in order to gain self-sufficiency, economic and political self-sufficiency. So I'm totally with you. Everybody gone? Hello?
Real quick, and I appreciate that. And listen, that dude came at me personally, so you know I can throw shots too. But fine, I get it. Going up.
We family. Don't take it
I'm
personal
done.
like
No,
that.
I'm done with that. Big Mike. My bad, Big Mike. There are studies, literally, where I would love to show it to you. And just give me a second. I'm at my next destination. I'll send it to you. Where many women, do I blame all black women? Absolutely not. I have a beautiful mother who kept me, focused on things. My aunts kept their kids, my cousins, all focused on things because it's like, hey, you dealing in this world, you better be able to compete physically and mentally. But we literally have multiple studies that confirm men,
You scared of power?
women.
You scared of power?
Hey, hold on. Man.
So moving on.
Hold on, man. Look,
moving on. Hey,
is getting
what's up
trollish.
with these lame straw mans?
It's getting trollish, man. It's getting
What's up with
trollish.
these lame straw mans?
Yeah,
Hey, I'm done. Y'all do your thing, man.
Yeah, stop cutting
Hey
in.
man, hey dude, do a better straw man. Please do a better straw man. I mean, please do a better straw man. Anyways, so what I was saying was, Big Mike in the panel and the audience is this. Basically, we have to, if we focus on, if just as we can learn here, I'm going to dumb it down for Mr. Troller. So just as we can develop basketball skills, putting it behind our back and between our legs and going through a defender, being able to see things, we can do that on the academic side. We can do that on the functional side of learning how to build materials. We can do that with the gun training that I teach men, or have you, but I'm afraid of power or whatever, right? I mean, move aside. And am I talking about a full revolution? No. Am I talking about us being able to defend ourselves? Absolutely. Right now, because, and it was an original point that I was trying to get to, but, these agent provocateurs love to try to derail things when we're actually really talking about things. So, but it'll come back to me, Big Mike. And for that point, I'll just pass the mic. But you, again, originally asked me about the whole communism aspect. And my whole point there was just to try to say how we got here and just to give some little slices of history. You feel me?
No, I'm with you, and I wanted you to come in on that because we're talking about the left tonight. I mean, tonight's show is really, we're going to deconstruct the Democratic Party, and we're going to get to the bottom of why a lot of so-called black men want to vote Republican right now, and just all of the dynamics that's going on right now. Is there a black? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, none of these movements, and I don't want. Are you familiar with Tony Brown?
No.
He used to have Tony Brown's Black Journal back in the 80s and 90s. So he would do these very provocative type topics or whatever. He has a great book called Black Lies, White Lies, right? And basically, his ideal, and I was learning this, at the time when I was in school, because I was brought up as a Democrat, all these things. He wants us to be able to leverage things like, look, you don't ever put all your resources on one side. You leverage what you have. Hey, we're in this area. We have these resources. So, we have these various resources. We leverage this between each candidate and what have you. Think about Asians for a second. I want to go past Tony Brown. Asians never are in the political conversation, but they're in the money conversation. So whereas they will give to whatever candidate that will do for them. Whereas, sadly, we ran away from the building our own businesses and things like that to no, as soon as we get into government, we will get power and we can change the laws. But guess what? Some kind of lobby group can come in and underseat you and say, hey, we need you to vote this way. And that's what's happening right now. I mean, think about it. We got plenty of congressmen that are taking George Soros's money, soft on crime prosecutors, and they don't care about their community. And what I'm saying is that we should never be totally committed to one party or another, but unfortunately because, and I'll say it, the black community overall is a matriarchy. Many dudes follow what their women say. This is why no voting, no bucking works. This is why, you a coon or whatever. The person who's selling drugs, who got the trap house and they've killed some kids in the area, they're not coons. No, only the people who have a different political ideology. And that's nonsense. But many people are afraid to go against, the status quo within the community because they think, man, I don't want to be ostracized. Whereas I'm like, well, part of being a man is standing up for what you believe. So I'll land my plane there.
All right. Good place to good segue into what we're talking about. So what we're talking about is what they call, and you'll see what I'm saying. Don't take the title. Don't let the title fool you on this. Are Black Americans being, falling victim to misinformation? That's really what this boils down to, is what you're talking about. So I'm going to finish this video, and then what we'll do is we'll go from there. So let me put it up. I'm going to change the outlook here.
The story on NBCnews.com for us, and is joining us now with more on this. Break this all down for us, Marquise, if you can, and what more you found in this report.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. Disinformation is something that people talk incessantly, seemingly about online or in person amongst their friends or whatnot. But they don't talk often about what is it and how is it impacting people. So this report out by Onyx Impact touted as the first of its kind to really understanding disinformation through online Black communities, and identified how.
So they doing studies and reports on us.
Yeah, they call NGOs, non-government organizations, who will be hired to basically monitor these conversations and then give their perspective. But we know, because it comes from academia, what side of it it's going to be. Just want to get some background on that. Go ahead.
Absolutely appreciate that. Let's go.
Half a dozen core online networks that are reaching or targeting specifically Black Americans. And they named gateway influencers and platforms, far-right activists, and media outlets, the Black manosphere, Black extreme nativists and separatists, health skeptics, and foreign actors, and Americans. And they named gateway influencers.
What they say?
Not only did you hear the manosphere, you heard a bunch, because you don't want an untested jab in you, because most B words, I want to respect your channel. Most B words had 5 to 10 year testing before they were rolled out without any mandates. No, you're now a health skeptic. This is some real shit.
Oh yeah, check it out.
Hey.
Platforms, far-right activists,
what
and
up,
media
West
outlets.
I was going to say to add on that too, because I just had a video knocked down or flagged on my profile here. It said misinformation. We did the Trump thing there. We did it maybe about 3 hours after the assassination attempt happened. So they took that video down and said misinformation. So what we were talking about in there that was wrong or misinformation. So they're really, to me, what they're really attacking right now, besides, economics, is really the identification of who we are in connection to this land, in connection to other things too. I don't need to get in right now, but that's what's going on. Once you figure that out, you can have your own political party. You can have this, you can have that, and go down the line with it. But yeah.
Okay.
Spot on.
Good info. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go.
The Black manosphere, Black extreme nativists and separatists, health skeptics, and foreign actors.
All right. So Black extreme nativists and separatists.
And they included a bunch of different examples, as you mentioned, Candace Owens just before, even the Fresh and Fit podcast. These are people.
Fresh and Fit mentioned by name. We're going to get into Fresh and Fit too tonight.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
Places that people go to for information, but when the information is not true and inaccurate, it has a devastating effect.
So, okay, we got this report. They've identified the issues. They've identified the misinformation and the problems. What can be done about it, and how much does Onyx actually think this is going to influence voters one way or the other come November?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in this report, they actually offer strategic guidance in which to combat this. Normally, I would think, okay, you run away, right? But they're actually saying, no, engage with these platforms. They offered actually several key ways to engage, engaging with them, not just before an election is coming up, but consistently. Also identifying trusted messengers and discrediting bad actors, which is super important. And overall, aggressively countering that disinformation. I actually also spoke to the CEO, and she has something to say about that as well.
Stop for a second, Big Mike. Can I ask?
Black voters are
something?
likely less susceptible
Big
to
Mike.
many
Okay,
disinformation.
yo, look at the CEO. Go ahead.
No, can you go back to that graphic? Just slightly, like about, I don't know, 3 seconds, when they showed the shade room and all these things.
Right there.
That one. Okay, so that's the shade room, right? What's very interesting is this. Listen, I've never entertained somebody like Alex Jones, right?
Right.
It sounded lunacy to me, whatever, right? But we have to call a spade, and that he called some things right. Does that mean everything that he says is right? Absolutely not. What these people are doing, and, they get the nice college-educated guy right there, or what have you, shout out to him, he's just trying to get his bag, I guess, and he thinks he's actually doing some well. They're trying to stifle free speech. Look at the shade room. The shade room is the #1 propagator of absolute nonsense to many black audiences in social media. When I say nonsense, most of their stuff is celebrity thing, gossip, right? But then they'll occasionally throw in some political commentary in it. Now, I don't know if you're a football fan, a boxing fan like me, or whatever. I want to hear from knowledgeable boxing fans. I don't want to hear from some government, some political commentator about boxing unless he's knowledgeable about both, right? Yet, we accept, I don't mean you guys on the panel or the audience. We accept things. Right. We accept these things just because of the presentation, the messaging. It's sort of like Umar, who is nothing to me but a social media. He's no different than a content creator than you are. He's not built anything. He's not done anything, whatever, but he has the mic. We love eloquent speakers and things like that, and he can spread his messaging. But on this political level, I don't mind the engagement and what they say, but they're doing much more than engagement. They're tracking your information and things like this and saying you're a threat. And this is all some old communism type tactics.
Hey,
See,
well, listen. Let me read these real quick. Tice. So the shade room, let's look at Onyx's 2024 strategic guidance. So it states that develop robust strategies to engage Black gateway influencers immediately. Next, identify and resource as many Black trusted messengers and media as possible. So they're going to identify and give resources to as many trusted messengers, people that are going to promote the party line or total party line and promote the leftist agenda, which is only going to take us further left. And then, they're going to give them money, resources, messaging. They're going to elevate them to the top of YouTube and the social media so that they can get millions and millions of views to, drown us out. Expose and discredit key bad actors in the core Black disinfo networks. Now, let me know something. Would you think that Myron Gaines would be considered a key bad actor?
Yes.
Okay, nobody has exposed or discredited him. I'm talking about from the establishment. I'm not talking about within the space.
No, I'm saying, or maybe I'm misinterpreting the question, but and anyone else can feel free to answer these things. But yes, the establishment. And by the way, I'm not a Fresh and Fit fan. I think their audience is younger, but you get my point. Yes, he's a bad actor. Yeah, yes, he's considered a or him and the other dude, whatever the fuck his name is, he's considered a bad actor. Absolutely.
Yes.
Can I add one more thing? Thing. Why do you think, come on, dog. Can I say a name? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with FD Signifier?
I've heard the name before. I don't know.
He's an out of shape, and I like to point those things out because
Yo, brother, hey, I got too much echo. I'm gonna go ahead and just watch it. All right.
Okay, my bad.
All right, bro.
My bad.
All right, Chief Red Wolf. Man, Chief Red Wolf in the building. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Sir Tice. Sir Tice.
I was unmuting myself. My bad. I thought it was the echo. I was the echo. This guy is he's the Black Destiny. I'm sure you're familiar with him. Okay?
I've heard this, yeah.
Okay, man, he thinks there are multiple genders. He's one of them kind of dudes.
Right.
This dude's got close to 1 million+ subscribers, or at least 500,000, or what have you, right? and his engagement is very low. You know, in other words, if you have that many kind of subscribers, you're not going to get, 10, 5,000 to your stream. You're going to get at least 20,000 to your things. But the point is that they will promote these type of people deliberately, and the YouTube corporation, part of Google, they're a part of it.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
It's another guy, Modern Renaissance. I had a run in with him. He came over here one night, and it was kind of the same thing with him as well. I wound up having to cook him back in my older days, but it's more of a, when he came across, it was like more of it was racial. It was racial. It wasn't necessarily promoting conservative values over here. It was more racial. Look at this last one though. Onyx's 2024 strategic guidance. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're on a big mic drop. I got Westside Coolin', I got Wave King, and Sir Tice in the building. Sir Tice is in the building dropping hot fire. So this last but not least on here, aggressively counter revisionist history, civic disengagement, and Biden broken promises disinformation narrative. So right there was basically let you know who it was. Isn't that nuts?
Dude, that is so obvious. But again, meaning.
Hold on, you going in now?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna come back up. Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. We're gonna go and finish this up. I'm just saying it's kind of odd that the only people doing research on this is the left-wing Democrats. What they do to you is that they use you in order to promote the agenda to give resources to other people. And I'm going to be able to prove that too, because we're going to read something from the top Democratic strategist, the Raging Cajun himself, James Carville, who may be racist a little bit himself, but we'll look at that.
Black voters are likely less susceptible to many disinformation narratives given their deserved higher levels of skepticism in institutions and government overall. But just like other communities, when disinformation is targeted and sophisticated and comes from messengers with standing, it can be incredibly effective and dangerous.
All right.
Yeah, and so
that was the CEO of the company that's doing research on us. I don't know if you noticed her name.
That's what I'm saying. She is not of our kind.
Right.
In government overall, higher narratives acceptable.
Okay.
Black voters are likely less susceptible to many disinformation narratives given their deserved higher levels of skepticism in institutions and government overall. But just like other communities, when disinformation is targeted and sophisticated and comes from messengers with standing, it can be incredibly effective and dangerous.
Yeah.
So what makes it dangerous? Why would any of our effective communicators really be telling us the wrong thing? The grassroots movement is very strong right now. That's what I'm saying. They're afraid of this. They don't want the political self-sufficiency.
Right.
I.e. the economic self-sufficiency. It's actually a group of people out here trying to stop this.
Oh yeah.
In this case, I don't think black nationalism is bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think white nationalism is bad. They try to throw it around like it's a boogeyman or something. I don't think it's bad. I think it's natural. I think it's a normal occurrence. Because what happens when you get immigrants that come in and they wave their flags of where they're from, and they bring their tribal beefs and tribalistic ways to our country, it's just like the movie Gangs of New York. You ever seen the movie Gangs of New York?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Where it was the nativists versus the Irish immigrants and the Italian immigrants, whoever came in.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. When you start mixing and merging and meshing people, especially in urban areas where you have no choice but to, have to, make room for other cultures, that's what happens.
And speaking of that, when you say nativist and all that, are you familiar with the Native American Party?
No, I'm not.
I don't know if you want to pull that up or not, but I think you'll like that based off what we're talking about here now. And the Know Nothing Party also it's called too, but it's the Native American Party or the Know Nothing Party. Yeah, so that'll be a good thing to look at there in reference to what you just said.
Yeah, let's look into it here.
Okay.
Hold on, we'll say we got Sir Tice back.
Yeah.
All right, Tice, we got you back in here.
Appreciate it. I hope the sound
And
isn't
so
too
this
bad.
report,
You say what, bro?
No, play it. I was saying, hope the sound isn't too bad.
Oh no, you sound good.
and its findings are hoping to inform us as Americans, as people who are actively engaging in our democracy. And one of the things that I also found in my research.
So how can a Nigerian, Mrs. Sosa, or Oso, whatever her name is, how can she tell Americans about Americans?
Right. And that's been the biggest issue right there. Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Is the fact that Black Americans actually over-index when it comes to social media in this age where everything is put behind a paywall. Right. Oftentimes, Black Americans are getting their information from YouTube and from Facebook. And so when that information is not vetted and not actually correct, it can really have
it's
such
crazy
a large
because
impact.
they
So when you
never
talk about
speak on their
engagement, when you
own
talk about
country like
combating
this.
it,
Like they're so involved in our country and they won't take that same energy back to their own, which is crazy. And it's even crazier. Like there are certain topics brought up that say like, hey, if these guys are as good or if they work as hard as they say they do, then that same energy should be applicable to where they come from. So they should be able to rally up people there and build their nation up economically. But
I agree with you completely, even though I referenced them. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Also, love the panel. Love how this conversation is going. Everybody is brilliant for sure. But I have some family matters that I have to attend to, so I'm gonna have to drop. I'll drop back in the chat if y'all still going strong on this. I'll come back up. But yeah, I've been dealing with a lot. But great panel, great panel. Much respect, Big Mike, for having me on.
And much respect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
much
respect to you.
Westchild. Yes, much respect to you. Also, how do you pronounce your name? I don't want to
Sir
butcher
Tice.
it.
Sir
Tice.
Tice.
Yeah,
Sir
I
Tice.
like what you were saying, man. I liked it a lot, for real. I love it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yes,
It's
sir.
same to your family. I'll be back here more often.
Thank you for sure. Yep, y'all keep it going. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yeah, facts. Absolutely, man. We got Wave King in the building, man. Look, great conversation so far. Great conversation, man. Even we had a little sparks fly, man. That's pretty cool.
Right. Let me say this, man. I am someone who speaks against the status quo. Okay? That's my position. Okay, I told you I was going to say something. Is it okay if I make a slight left turn, but it deals with Trump and Vance?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here's a left turn. Listen, man. Shout out to Trump. Trump is the one who brought up the theory or the actual reality of the uniparty or the deep state or whatever you want to call, or the shadow government, whatever you want to call them. You got to give him a shout out to that. But yet, do I know that Trump is pro that country that we shall not name or whatever? Of course. Starts with an I. Of course. Is he going to make some deals with them? Of course he is.
Yeah.
I like, and I'm not one of those. I will never use the lesser of the two evils term. But right now, man, is America okay? I tell this to people, and I'm like, you analyze this. How do we look globally? You watch politics. The brother, with the Captain America thing. I'm assuming that it is. We watch this for the first time in America. Most people saw Biden 2 weeks ago during that debate. Even though we've been screaming the alarm about this dude is not even running the country right now, Sleepy Joe or whatever, right?
Right.
And it just shows you how little that people know. And I'm not saying everybody should be a politics junkie by any means. I'm just saying, like, have an idea. But here's not the point I was going to make. J.D. Vance has a problem. And I like his story. He's a redneck, from a trailer park, as the kids say, got it out the mud and all that. He's got a great story. But Peter Thiel is a part of his rise. And Peter Thiel, if you guys are familiar, and I like to give sources, go to Redacted. I can't think of this channel's called Redacted. They give all the details, but Peter Thiel basically has created this software that basically monitors people online and, looks at where you lean politically. It uses a lot of voice recognition and things like that. So my point is, so they too are somewhat part of the deep state, and I have to call it both ways. You know, now mind you, this is a deeper dig. I do think that Biden has sold us out 10 times more than say Trump has, and put us in a weaker position. But I have no problem criticizing the other side. And I was laying the plane here. You know you're dealing with a cult member of either side when they're not willing to criticize their own side of the aisle or whoever they support. You feel me?
Oh yeah, there
Facts.
is a new phenomenon called blue MAGA, especially with Joe Biden's declining mental health and cognitive abilities. They do have like this cognitive dissonance similar to that of MAGA, what they were blaming MAGA for having. It's starting to happen on the left as well. The thing about it is the left is already kind of bloody people, so it's dangerous. You know what I mean? The way their cognitive dissonance can devolve into so much in this society if we don't, kind
Let,
of
Right.
let me throw this up here. Oh, were you going to say something, brother?
No, I was just saying right.
Okay, let me say this, and I want to give a shout out to the angry man for this point. I didn't completely come up with this by myself, so I like to give credit where the source is. I did think about it, but I didn't articulate it like this. Fellas, when I was 20 years old, let's see, I'm trying to think. That was, I think the Chronic had just dropped. Wu-Tang had released a single. Oh God, what else was popping back then? Leaders of the New School. Oh God, DJ Quick had dropped his second album. I mean, all I was concerned, I knew about politics. That was Bill Clinton, Ross Perot, and who was the Republican that Bill Clinton ran against? Oh, George Bush.
George Bush.
Yeah, duh. Yeah, and then the father. I knew about it, but I had a basic understanding. I guess what I'm getting at is this. Here, let me do a backtrack because one thing I couldn't. We were taught, all of us, because we all Gen Xers. I'm assuming, not you, Big Mac, Mike. I know you, but the other brothers. Hear me out, because I've kind of set
Millennial.
this up a little bit too much. Oh, you're a millennial. Okay, so we came up to hate Reagan. It's like Reagan is this, whatever the term for white supremacists was then, whatever. But here's the reality. We were teenagers during the time of Reagan. What issues at the time? We weren't paying gas prices. We saw our parents struggling to an extent, but we really didn't know. So for us to hate Reagan, and I'm not trying to give a sales pitch to Reagan, what have you, right? I'm going to land this plane here, but you're going to love this. I'll tie it to a question. The guy who, in my opinion, had assistance with foreign actors, he didn't do this himself. Crooks is his last name, who tried to bang former President Trump. He was 12 years old when Trump first came into office in 2016. What in the F does a 12-year-old know about even if he's the best civic student there is? How does he get so radicalized? Whereas he's like, I don't just hate that dude. I'm going to be aided and abetted by these other things because he didn't act alone. But regardless, that I'm going to put myself in this. This tells you the level of brainwashing that's happening. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the reason I brought up those little old school rap albums and this. I didn't hate Bush or Dukakis or Clinton or Ross Perot, whatever. I wasn't even thinking like that. You've got to be completely radicalized to actually go through with this. Y'all feel me? So I guess the question is they talk about extreme rhetoric. What was as extreme as this? You radicalized a 12-year-old guy who was 12 years old, and he supposedly was smart in math, but he stayed at home. His parents had a nice home of what we saw, or at least a good home. How did he get to this point? So I'll land the plane there.
Hey, look. First of all, good layout. Here's the deal. The narrative that these kids are so intelligent and these, highly intelligently functioning beings and all that got bullied and whatnot. No, I'm going to tell you what mostly it is. It's almost like some MK Ultra shit. It's definitely involved in. Get
out of there with that one. You're gonna make this go deep. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's almost like some MK Ultra type shit. It's almost like people have things that are planted in them that when it's time they just
They're
become
triggers.
activated.
They're
Right. They have
triggers.
triggers. Right. So like what I can't understand is how of all days does somebody just show up to assassinate the president everywhere they go? And then when they see that, is there somebody always ready to fire off? You know what I'm saying on the president? Because that would have to be the case for things to line up the way they lined up. I'm talking about down to the way the Secret Service acted or didn't act. You know, the incompetence on such high levels. So you know, I don't know if I'm having a hard time understanding that story and that storyline myself. How
This
does
brings
somebody become that radicalized? Literally, the boy is like you said. He was working at a restaurant. He wasn't that intelligent. No offense to restaurant workers, but it's not like he graduated school and went to college. He was still
right.
working at it. You know, he's a cook.
But to even be leveraged, go ahead. My
Well,
bad.
no, it's all good. It's all good. You can jump in whenever you want.
No, I
Yeah,
don't want to keep. Oh, you.
yeah,
It's your turn.
I was gonna say just in reference to Barack Hussein Obama. When you look at him starting when he was younger till now, and this is proven, this is not conspiracy. His lineage was basically sculpted for him to be where he's at. So I'm not going to say certain alphabet names and such things like that, but in reference to this Thomas Crooks guy, who's not the guy that was on that roof, by the way, that's somebody totally different. Yeah, you know that the whole play is scripted, and yeah.
Well,
You're basically saying like we're living in a simulation of sorts. I think, and I wouldn't disagree with you. I will tell you this. Shout out to you, Big Mike, in that MK Ultra reference. I didn't even consider that just yet. You know, because I'm still. But by the way, the gross level of incompetence to where it's now we're finding out that these guys weren't even real Secret Service agents. That is insane. I mean, and listen, I'm not one of these. Well, let me say this. I don't want to see that happen to Biden or what have you, because I'm concerned about the global look. If I'm one of these American enemies and I'm like, damn, it was that easy to get that close, you know what I'm saying? So you have to know that there were some other mishaps that fell. And what I hate is that many of these college educated Negroes who are supposed to know better don't even want to question things because they're more afraid of being ostracized by their own versus, looking at the truth. And again, let's just say that happened, that had been Biden. I'm not going to say I would cry of either, but I'm like, man, I live here. We look weak as fuck. And that's like, I mean, I was mad as hell about the damn the hot air balloon that flew across our country.
Right.
People thinking this is a joke, and I'm like, shoot that shit fucking down. What the fuck? But go ahead.
Right. Hey, look, man. We could get into some serious discussion about that whole thing. I don't think we'll ever know the truth about it. Don't think we'll ever know the truth about that. But I want to kind of swing back to this what we were talking about with the left, because I don't want to take my foot off the Democrats' neck. I do not want to take my foot off their neck. They promised us stuff when we voted for them in 2020, and I did vote for Biden in 2020. Like I said, I'm not ashamed to say it, but I reserve the right to change my mind anytime I feel like it. Westside.
Thank you for being honest about it.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I deserve to change my mind anytime. I change it anytime I want to. I could wake up tomorrow and change my mind. You know what I mean? So, but let's talk about this fight against this misinformation that's coming to us, and then let's figure out where the real disinformation is coming from, because it's not like they don't know. It's not like they're making a mistake. This is intentional, sending wrong information to Black people in this country. This is going to stop our political self-sufficiency.
Okay, let me add into that if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Let me add into that if you don't mind. This is one reason I like to cite sources and reading material and things like that. Listen, yes, we're being monitored and things like that, but we are at least at the advantage of we have access to 10 times more information than we've ever had. Hold on a second. I want to kill some of this background noise.
All right.
Anyways, and I say that to say this. How many of us, the mainstream, misuse online? Listen, it's to me, it should be simple. Vote your wallet, vote for where you think your family's gonna be, and vote for, your security here. Now, do you think it's safe when you just like somebody told me literally, I don't think the border is any more different than it was before. And I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
I'm not gonna have this conversation with you because okay, there's no facts that I can give you that would prove to you otherwise. Oh, those are just clips from Chicago. Y'all always use Chicago. Or if I use New York or what have you, or what's happening there, them giving them money cards. And I think you were speaking of this earlier about what they're getting. But the misinformation, Big Mike, communists love, and this is where I really want to go. Man, there's this great book. I want to give you this. I know I keep talking about books. God damn it, what is it called? It's called The Idiot's Guide to Communism, right? Man, now mind you, I got a lot of Karl Marxist stuff. I got a lot of Frankfurt School stuff, and that's what was kind of changing my mind. But this book, the way it crystallizes, one thing Marxists do, and you can look at their playbooks from Venezuela to Cuba, and this is they use and change language. What the fuck is white adjacent? Miscommunication or misinformation. They always come up with all these terms. I can't think of another one or whatever that they use, in the social justice movement or whatever. Disenfranchised. Not that that word has never been used before, but they always focus on keeping you in your emotions and what have you. They will never talk about their gulags. They will never talk about they will never talk about Mao, who said the same thing in China, and then, we don't, they'll never even tell you where the guy in Tiananmen Square is right now. Right? And people think I'm just naming symbolic things. No. Chinese people, black people love them some TikTok. Love them some TikTok. Look at China's TikTok versus American TikTok. They're just flooding us with nonsense, and because we don't want to question things, and this is white and black people, and I'm just saying, if we get this panel right now, we're anti-America for just having this panel. Based off of Marquise or whatever his name was, because we're three brothers talking to each other about this, and we're like questioning, like, wait a minute, huh? And let me land a plane on here. I know this is kind of off, and I said this earlier. I'll repeat it. Look at the left. What message does the left have to give to black men? What have you? You rarely ever hear about business development or programs exclusively made for black people, what have you. No, it's always follow your women and do what they say. So then they'll throw into you, what's the Republicans' former Republican chairman that's on MSNBC now, bald head dude, still keeps his shag, Michael Steele. They give us Michael Steele, they give us soft-ass Van Jones, and cream puff Roland Martin. We don't even have any masculine men on the left to look at.
Man, Roland Martin had a shirt on that said "Vote like a black
woman." you cook on that one.
There's a shirt on that said "Vote like a black woman." Let me find it.
I got one better. Go to Chad. He did a quick short video. Chad space O, the letter O, Jackson. He did a quick 1 minute, 50-second vignette. And by the way, I got to get you two together because that brother's level of understanding of communism, him and this guy teaching Chuck, is next level.
What is it on? Is it on Twitter?
No. Go YouTube. Just search Chad space O, letter O, Jackson. And it'll go to his channel. And it's a very short.
All right. Chad O. Jackson.
Okay, you see the video about the vote like a black woman. It should be at the very top because he did it in the last 2 or 3 days. He's kind of a rotund brother with glasses.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Okay. You see it? Play
Yeah,
it
here
for
we
your
go.
audience. You're gonna love his summary of this. And I would
All
love
right,
to get y'all both of y'all takes. And I'll shut up.
all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Hey man, so yeah, this is real footage here. Chad O. Jackson. Let's go. Fair use as well, y'all. Uh-oh. I'm hold on. I'm
Sharing your browser.
sharing the wrong one, huh? Let me
No, I was saying it was sharing your browser.
Yeah, sharing the browser. There we go. Here we go.
I have to call a thing a thing. When you look at Black culture, who leads it? Women. That's actually a curse. That's not a blessing. That's a curse. In the Bible, in Isaiah, it talks about how you will be persecuted by children. What's going on in the inner cities? Who are the gangs made up mostly of? Children. And women will lead you. It's not a blessing, that's a curse. Meanwhile, Roland Martin's walking around with a shirt that says vote like a Black woman. That's crazy to me. Wearing a shirt that says vote like a Black woman. Look, you dummy. The reason why Black women vote predominantly for a party and for a philosophy that promises handouts, that promises to take care of you, that promises to be your big brother, is because they can't depend on the men in their home. And so it's because you fell asleep at the gate that your women feel that they must now vote for a politician to take care of them.
You ain't done more for Black people than LBJ did, than Bill Clinton did, than FDR did.
For you, a grown man, to wear a shirt that says vote like a Black woman is like saying, I don't want to be a man. I don't want to take responsibility and rise to the occasion. I want for the government to take care of me. That's what you're saying when you wear a shirt that says vote like a Black woman who doesn't feel protected, who doesn't feel like her man can take care of her and of the family. That's what you are saying when you say vote like a Black woman, the nerve of you. I don't mean to get riled up. I'm actually going to stop the live right now because I feel myself getting hot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting hot. Do you have any comments? I'm gonna stop it right here.
You can stop it.
I want to tone it down a little bit. But I don't know. He's
done. He's done. I'll let y'all go, and then I'll close out. Y'all go.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily like that, what he's saying. I mean, I get what he's saying, but you know, it's not necessarily that dudes fell asleep at the gate. It's just
that's what I disagree with. I
disagree with that. I disagree with that. And where's he from? Where's he from, Sir Tice? You
Texas.
know, he's
Texas,
from
Dallas. Yeah.
Is he a Texan?
Yep.
All right.
He's a plumber. He's got his own. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I had to check, man. Sometimes, man, like I said, I'm not really big on people talking for me that I don't know.
No, he's not an Ivy. He's not an Ivy League guy. In fact, he hates Ivy Leagues. That's I hear.
I mean, Ivy League is fine. I just need to make sure he's not from the Ashy League.
What's the ash? Oh, you mean like a rainbow?
No,
African. Make sure he's not African or Caribbean or.
I got you. No. He's born.
You gotta watch them because it's like Miss Sosa from the Onyx Project. You know what I mean? She's
right
out here in America doing experiments on
Black
Americans.
Right.
Here, I don't want to get. All right, I've had to get away from this, and people will say, "Well, why you hate Umar or whatever?" But I can take a message. I like the point in what he said about like, dude. First of all, let's just call it what it is. It's pandering to the utmost. But when you pander, most women do not respect panderers. Do you think even the 50, 60, 65, Roland Martin, a smart man or whatever, they really don't respect that dude. And their choices say that. You know, my thing is you're supposed to be a journalist. You were on CNN and we trusted you just because, you know, we give the proverbial pass because you're Black or whatever, you know, and you sounded like this. And it's not because it's Black women for me. If any other group said somebody had sit there with representatives and say something like this, I would look at them in the same way. Like, wait a minute, I thought the man was the decision maker, number one. Number two, even if you consider your wife's things, you know, which I think most couples should, to just say, no, I defer other things. And then he's got that sassy ass disposition, man. And it's just like, this is what they want men to be. We're supposed to be serfs.
Oh yeah, and not dangerous. Completely safe. Real soft and buttery and jiggly. You know what I mean? With no real, no real backbone. That's why. I mean, look, dude, brother. After January or November, if Trump wins, black men are gonna be like hunted in the streets by other black people.
Okay, can you expound on that? What do you mean by that?
If black men
Uh-huh.
get Trump
I know what he means.
If black men get Trump over that doggone hump, that threshold, then the black people in the community that didn't want Trump in, you're gonna be persecuted.
Hey, I want all the smoke.
You're gonna be persecuted. It's gonna be smoke.
I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. Now, I think what you're saying is that our dudes ready for that. I don't think a lot of dudes are ready for it, but I do think that there's a lot of men that are. Let me ask you this. I'm not changing the topic. I'm keeping it on this because I thought about you when pause, but I thought about you when I saw there was something there were some cigars. There were some cigars and politics that happened in Atlanta about 2 weeks ago. I can't even think of the name of the black congressman in Houston. Damn, what the fuck is his name? But him and Byron Donalds came to a cigar bar in Atlanta, right? I don't know if you saw this clip.
I didn't.
Oh, bro. I may need to dig out the clip for you, but let me just describe it briefly. Man, they tried to do, the outreach or whatever. And they had, of course, this obvious plant in the audience. And, Byron Donalds has said about, despite Jim Crow, we still had our families together, right? In other words, we had some clear opposition we had to deal with, but we still maintain our family. That's simply what he was saying. And then the dude was like, why you gotta say Jim Crow? Why you gotta say Jim Crow? Like he was triggered by it. It was embarrassing. I'm gonna find this damn clip for you, Big Mike, man, because it was just embarrassing. And he was like, why are you so triggered by the word? And then he started going on a tizzy. And I'm like, this guy's a player.
I saw that.
Okay, you did see your... Yeah. One second, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I did actually see that clip Sir Tice is talking about.
Yeah, I can hear you. Expound on it, or both of you guys.
Yeah. So basically, Byron Donalds was saying that. And is he from here?
I don't. I got to do my.
I don't know if he is, but he was talking about families being together in Jim Crow. So basically, like even under these extraordinary, extreme events, or this extreme environment that black people were in that time frame, that families were still together. And I guess he's making the comparison that today families aren't.
That's exactly what he was saying.
He's just basically saying that today, with all that we do have, the integration and everything, families aren't together. In which case, our children are more isolated.
That's all he was fucking saying. But and by the way, Byron Donalds is from Brooklyn.
Okay.
But his district is the west side of Florida. So I live in like South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. His district is on the Fort Myers, the west side or whatever of Florida. Okay, but that's his district, what have you. Listen, to me, it's a very simple point to understand. But this is why I say we're dealing with a cult. When you can't understand, it's no different to me than, hey, all drug dealers aren't bad. All drug dealers aren't, I would say more or less nowadays different, but I don't want to go there or whatever. I'm just saying, it's like, hey, there's less obstacles for you to succeed versus this. Somehow Sam Parker's comment came, oh, you got it here. Oh, this feature on Stream, you got StreamYards or Streamlabs?
I got StreamYard.
Yo, it shows up beside your comment now, so I can even see it. He was about to say, however they prefer. You want to move the conversation? Yeah, I was just bringing that up. And do you agree that old boy just acted ridiculously to whereas you're like, this has to be a plant? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's always gonna be a plot. And I'm gonna tell you that lady, what's the other tether on CNN?
You call her Joy Reid?
Abby Phillips. No, Joy Reid is a tether too, but the other tether.
You use the term tether. I just laugh at that.
Yeah, like dude, these women are so disingenuous, man, and so like really intellectually dishonest is an understatement. They're not even drawing proper conclusions. Let me show you that interview. Let me just show you that interview. How about that? And then we'll get to these misinformation on Biden's broken promises. Byron, let's see. Yeah,
While you're looking up, we're at Big Mike's channel on a Saturday. Like the video. You're not going to get conversation like this in depth anywhere.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let me see. I don't want to do TikTok. Let me do the CNN video here.
While he cues up the video, where do you hear black men talk like this? And let's just add this, to it. Name me one movie where you hear black men that wants to stand up against the status quo. 90% of most movies has an obvious antagonist, but most of the guys are just trying to fit in. But here, I'm trying to fill your dead air. Your dead air.
Oh, it's all good. Look, we're gonna get pop.
Hey, real quick, Big Mike, you actually born and raised you a native alien?
Say what?
You a native alien?
Yeah, native alien.
Yeah, born and raised.
Damn.
No, born and raised in A. That's what they call.
No. I'm from Alabama.
Okay. Oh, so you from where Sub-Zero is? What part?
I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Okay. Yeah, man, you got to come over to Sub-Zero's channel and shit. Two Alabama guys and shit. Yeah, I would love that. One second, but you've been in Atlanta since the 90s, right?
I was here in the 90s. I've been back since 2018.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to live there too. I used to live in Stone Mountain and started with an E right off of Stonecrest, Ellenwood.
Oh,
Yeah. Go ahead. You found the video?
I was about to say East Point of Ellenwood. Now this is Abby Phillips' interview with him, where she's pressing him about the details of that. So they should show that clip, and then she'll go into the details with him. But I want you to just hear and take notice of how disingenuous this chick is, man. Hold on.
Oh, man, we got to fill the dead air again.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
hey, look, man, if they don't know how to entertain themselves, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah. How's your summer otherwise?
Man, it's going pretty good, man. Been busy, man. This has been the first time I've been able to get on the doggone podcast. And I'm gonna tell you, man, shout out to my homeboy Quaniel, man. Yeah, it's good to be back too, dog.
Yeah, busy is a good thing. What about you, brother?
Hey, good. It's been good. I got a question for you. You were talking about firearms and such things like that. You train people. How long you been doing that, Sir Nice?
Tice. Yeah. About 2.5 years. Brother that Big Mike met at our Manosphere meetup, Freedman's Journal. You remember him, Big Mike?
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Freedman's Journal is a military instructor and shit. A reformer, man. Man, this dude knows everything about bang bangs. I don't want to use the G word because that gets us, man. He first took me to the outdoor range, what have you, right? And the problem with me is I'm left-handed. So he showed me some things, and right now we kind of trying to start a black gun club and things like that. We got a couple police officers and things like that. So I would say probably since 2022 I've been doing this.
Nice.
I'll let you play the video. My bad.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No. Yeah. So it's been fun. We'll go out once a month or what have you. Basically, y'all familiar with Master Ray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, trying to do what he does. But I'm focusing on men.
Right.
The only women that I will do is if they long-term girlfriends or their wives, not just girlfriends. So we've got about 10 to 15 people we're doing right now. You got to start off small, but yeah, basically we don't go to the regular gun range. I'm talking about outdoor range. So it's, where you can do walking drills and things like that, and getting comfortable with with your thing. So, you know it. You're not like a Secret Service agent, when the person you're capturing and you can't even host for your gun, right? I don't know if you know that. Whatever.
I saw that shit. I saw that bullshit.
But yeah, I hope that answers your question. If you have more afterwards, feel free.
All right. Well, yeah, this is gonna go for a minute, man. So, look, use this opportunity to get you like a drink refill. You know what I'm saying? Get you some popcorn or whatever. I'm gonna go for refill on my sweet tea. I'm not even Red Cup Nation tonight, and that's shocking, man. Because I wanted to be a sound mind and body to do this show tonight.
Well, I'm Clear Cup Nation, so my bad. But
it's all good. Toward the end of the show, once we get through it, I might just join the Red Cup Nation again. So let's see. But yeah, check this out. This is Abby Phillips, and this is her fierce rebuke of Byron Donalds. Black family was together in Jim Crow era comment. Now, we'll go into it. We'll go into it. Let's start. Here we go.
Congressman Byron Donalds, he made some comments that has a lot of you talking and a lot of Democrats fired up. I'm going to speak with him live in just a couple of minutes, but here are the original remarks. They were made as a part of a pitch to Black voters in Philadelphia, and I want you to hear it in its full context. Listen.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened, but you my father and I love you. Wow. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Wow. But I'm going to tell you this. Growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself. Wow. And so one of the things that's actually happening in our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of Black families with younger Black men and Black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a Black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the Black family was together. That's right. During Jim Crow, more Black people were not just conservative, because Black people always have been conservative-minded, but more Black people voted conservatively. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more Black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, now wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth. Not just having a job, generational wealth.
Now, we should note that many Democrats who jumped on Donalds today claimed that he said that Blacks were, quote, better off. As you heard there, he didn't use those exact words in the clip, but the congressman joins me now.
How disingenuous is that intro and that lead in based off of what you heard that man say? I didn't see anything wrong with what he said.
I don't know your name in the middle, so I want you to go first if you don't. Not talking about it.
And I didn't detect any lie.
Here. If you're kind of zoom in. Big Mike, what's the brother's name with the Captain America? I don't want to keep just referring.
That's a Texas flag.
Hold on, what now? I just got back on it. What'd you say now?
No. Oh, I was saying, what's your name? Or you can go ahead. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's Texas. Yeah, West Side. Yeah, you can just call me West Side.
All right, West Side. Oh, damn, I'm from the West Side. That's easy to remember. I guess he was saying, Big Mike was saying, what's your thoughts? And I just wanted you to go first. I'll talk more than enough.
Yeah. I'm just saying I heard
Go
him
ahead.
say nothing wrong. That's what I was just kind of, making sure everybody heard what the statement that he's basically being, brought to the hot seat about.
I don't understand. I'll just jump in here. Not only did he not say anything wrong, everything that he said is not only factual. Some of us are fortunate enough, not me, to have our grandparents sit around, and we at least have people in their 70s and 80s that are around that we can talk to them about those times.
Right.
And and that's the one thing that we don't do enough. But enough of my soapbox there. I don't mean us, but you get what I'm saying. We have enough people alive that were around during these times, but how they're trying to manufacture a controversy about these pop stars that the media loves leveraging for their initiatives. This is so Captain Obvious that can be proved with statistics, anecdotal experiences, books, research, that it's like, I don't understand the point of contention. That's my theory.
Right.
But why don't they ever talk about, in terms of today's time, about the the white or pale family and how broken that is? And then when you go to the CDC, you see this, single family or single father thing like that. That's more higher in their community than ours.
I'll add to this to you, and I'm going to drop a bomb here. I personally believe Black America is a social engineering petri dish of policies that they generally will push out to everyone else. See, we at one time we were 14% of the population. Now we're 12.5. I wonder why that is. But a lot, like you said, the increase in single mothers on the white side has more than doubled. Don't quote me exactly, but I know it's much more increased and it's much more acceptable in that culture. And I'm not saying that they're the standard bearers or whatever, right? I'm just using them as an example. So you are absolutely correct. My point is that, like, he even mentioned about LBJ, and this is what I wanted to say, and then you can play it again if you like, is, listen, the Great Society was arguably one of the worst programs ever. It had good intentions, although, did it really have good intentions? Or did they know that once you keep feeding, let's say in the wild, you keep feeding that bear that comes to your house, guess what? Guess who's going to be knocking on your door? Let's take a wild guess. That you leave out some things for the bear. Guess who's going to keep coming back to it? The bear. In other words, when you create a sense of dependency, which is what the Great Society Act did, and like I say to everyone, it wasn't all Black people that signed up for it. A lot of Black people saw it for what it was. It's like, no, we ain't gonna do it. But then a lot of people saw it as like a get out of jail free card, shout out to Monopoly, to where is this? And we had the highest marriage rate at 88% and the lowest incarceration rate in 1965 at, I want to say it's 15%. And this is according to Black Demographics, which uses the census data. And in less than 10 years, in 1974, we went from an 88% marriage rate to it was like cut in 15%, which is unheard of. And let me add one more thing to this to prove my point. Y'all all used to watch Good Times. Maybe not you, Westside, you're a millennial, but Big Mike know about Good Times.
I know
right?
about Good Times, yeah.
Okay, there's a term that's not even in our lexicon anymore that was very popular back then. You know what that term was? Elope.
Elope, yeah.
Elope. That's not even in our modern lexicon anymore. And I'm just telling you on how in less than 20 years, we changed the development of family and things like that. And that's all Byron Donalds was really saying with this point. But, if you want to just keep playing, let's see how they say, but.
Well, you'll definitely be able to tell who's against the nuclear family, i.e. the first tenet of the BLM movement. Not the BLM phrase, but the BLM movement.
Right.
Against the establishment of the nuclear family. So let's keep on going with Abby.
To talk about that. Congressman, thank you for being here. I want to just focus on really the substance of what you were saying or trying to say in that clip. What did you mean by Black families were more together during Jim Crow?
Frankly, what that is about the empirical fact that before the Great Society, before Lyndon Johnson's policies, there was more Black families united. The marriage rate in Black America was significantly higher before the Great Society. The period of time that coincides with that, obviously, is Jim Crow era. And then after the Great Society, the marriage rate in the Black community plummeted significantly. The Great Society is a part of that reason, not completely, but it's definitely a part of that. And what you're seeing right now in America is a reformation of Black families in America. That's a good thing, not only for the Black community and for Black families, but it's also a good thing for the country.
So what was the point of tying together the Black family and Jim Crow specifically? I mean, Jim Crow, as you know, was a period of racial segregation, of racial terror. Why would you make that connection?
Stop, please.
All I was doing
Please
was
stop.
referring
Please
to the
stop.
time
Please stop.
periods when you talk about
Please stop.
the historical timelines in
No,
America
I'm saying,
and
Big Mike, can you
coinciding
stop?
with Black families
He
and
might
what
not
the
be at his
marriage rate
desk.
in Black families are. The overarching point is obviously talking about what polling shows today, that about 25% of the Black vote, depending on what poll you're looking at, is leaning towards supporting Republicans and supporting President Trump. The corollary to that is that when you're in a family unit, husband and wife, living together, working together, thriving together, you're raising your...
So
Big Mike,
tight.
you there? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, my bad. I had stepped out to get something to drink.
Oh, my bad.
And
My
see-
bad. No, finish.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying stop. So I
No,
was.
Westside had a point too, because so you go first, Westside.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. You know, I think it's provocative or it's whatever to be a so-called Black and be Republican and all this kind of stuff. I think that's cool. That's great. But I have to look at the whole picture, what's really going on here. If I'm going to talk about myself, I got to make sure I'm damn near perfect. But let's look at the whole damn picture, like I was saying here. When we look at these communities, whether it be Latino, whether it be Asian, whether it be Middle Eastern, whether it be whatever, right? These people don't have what the crippling of these low-level, excuse my language, niggas have. So when I hear this rhetoric on CNN, Fox News, from Republicans or whoever, it don't add up to me. My thing is they're doing shit way worse. So my thing would be like, okay, you know what? Let's not talk about this shit over and over again and keep talking about, the Black families, this and all this kind of stuff. And again, we're not Black. I just want to put that out there. We're not Black. Let's get over that dumb shit for one. But I'm just sick and tired of these Republicans and whoever talking about the family wasn't this. We're over sexualized. We got this and that, But then you look on what these white women are doing, white people, you see some crazy stuff y'all have never even got into or don't even understand. So that's my rebuttal to that.
Okay, I don't agree with you one bit about the making it a Republican thing, talking about the family in a sense. But hey, again, we're having a respectful disagreement, so it's all good. The reason I don't agree with that is what he was trying to say is was very simple, is that, in other words, when there were times of actual strife where you could get killed for being in the wrong spot, we still had our families together. Whereas now,
That's
many
understood.
people,
That's understood.
okay, all right. Many people think, like case in point, people say, how come you never had children? I don't like to get into my personal life too much, but my fiance died. So she had, I tell people, shout out to arranged marriages, whatever. I used to laugh at that shit. Now I'm for it, whatever, in a sense. I say that jokingly, but I'm actually serious. It used to be about combining two families. And you're looking what this family brings or whatever. It's not that, oh, damn, she's got some nice TNA and shit that you're going to procreate with her. It's like, damn, I can really envision her being a mother and she can envision you being a father. And then y'all got a great support system, And when we really look at things and look at the statistics, yeah, do Republicans like looking and, criticize it all? They have no fathers and this, whatever. Yep, they sure do. But I'm not going to argue with facts also. Is that the sole problem? No. But is it part of the problem? Yes. But my thing is as Black people, we can't stop being offended by this shit. We're only 13% of the population. The fact that we have the voice that we have
Hey, Sir
right
Tyson.
now,
Sir Tice, I want to not to cut you off, but we're more than the 13% population.
You think?
This is what I'm saying with these talking points and stuff they're saying. That's cool, but me as a so-called black man, if I'm going to be R, D, or I, or Green Party, whatever it may be, or my party, or the copper-colored party, I want to make sure I look at the whole war table here and make sure before I put all this other stuff out there. That's all I'm saying. This is acceptable to say. I mean, this is known basic stuff. I've heard this stuff for years. We know.
No, you.
I mean, Jim Crow. I mean, that's cool. Jumping the broom. Okay, that's great. That's cool. But what about these other people? And then study what the Latino culture is doing. We ain't talking about how low level that shit is. But
Yeah, I do.
why are they not doing that though?
I'll
So
say
every
this.
time
I'll say this.
you go
I'll
good.
say this. Every culture has their trash. One culture, or at least the mass media. Let me say it this way: the mass media promotes the downtrodden of that, and that is so-called us. I do agree with you about the black designation, but for just for the sake of conversation, let's just say black for right now, or whatever. Right? Yes. Do white people give a fuck about their trailer park trash, white trash, or whatever? Of course not. You know, the so-called Hispanics, and I hate that label. Do they care about who's really in the barrio or their MS-13 motherfuckers? Of course not. You know, but somehow we get conflated with our downtrodden, and then many of us have come to accept that. Again, he was just basically saying and trying to sell the message because many people, you may be familiar with it, what side? Unfortunately, many aren't because all they equate old school things with is fire hoses, you know, and separate fountains. You know, never mind that we had our own communities and many things. Never mind that when the bomb dropped in Tulsa, there was some white people that got smoked in that, and that Tulsa was rebuilt and was a sustainable community for 30, 40 years later until integration. But those stories aren't well known, and that's fine if people don't want to do the research, whatever. I'm fine with that at this point. I'm just saying he's on a national platform where he has to give general information, and people are just being contentious about Jim Crow. Like, okay, and there are plenty of, you know, we've heard of the Deacons of Defense and all this. Like, black people were just some fucking punks, and that's not what we were. So, you know, I'll lay my plane right there.
Well, let me go on, jump in, because I understand what he's saying. She's going above and beyond to not understand what he's saying and to misconstrue what he's saying. Now, as far as are we 13% of the population? Absolutely not. One thing about it is black folks here don't tell the government every damn thing. We're not going to tell you how many people are in our house. Everybody is not going to do the census, and it's been like that for years. Plus, we're systemically undercounted because our real numbers have to be concealed. All I do know is that I do believe we're the biggest voting bloc outside of white Americans, and we might be more than them. I'm gonna share something that James Carville wrote, and in that he dropped some percentages, and he just never really cleared up who he was talking about. So we're gonna look at that as well, but we're definitely not 13% of the population. Now, as far as the Great Society was the antithesis to the Civil Rights movement, or to the Civil Rights Act being passed. The Civil Rights Act was passed. The Great Society was immediately passed, a year or two later, or a year later.
Yep.
And that pretty much just started unraveling. So it's like, okay, if you're going to integrate, you're going to be XYZ poor as hell. If you're going to integrate, we're going to put you in these neighborhoods. We need to make sure you stay here. If you're going to integrate, integration was not necessarily the best thing. And even Dr. King said that he led his people into a burning house when he was talking about integration. So right now we're in the process of, I don't think we're ever going to be able to undo the integration. I don't think that there's ever going to be a black separatist movement where we just go from there. Like I said, white America already separates themselves from everybody else. They're the ones who are separating themselves now. We need to figure out what we're going to do with all of these other motherfuckers coming in here.
Well, I'm all for separatist things, whatever, right? You know, actually, we do this informally, you know, Especially when you got families and you have the resources. You don't send your kids to the same schools that they send them. Now, it's not nice for people to say that out loud because, you know, part of being Black and upwardly mobile is, you know, hey, I'm still part of the struggle or whatever, and all this, whatever, right? You know, now you make also another point of something you had said about the Great Society and how this. What do you think about my thoughts, and not to meander into this, that I say we are the social experiment or the petri dish for the social engineering that will be usually placed across everyone else? What are your thoughts on that one?
I wouldn't use that term. I know what you're saying, but I don't think I would use that that metaphor. I don't think we're the petri dish. I think basically we're the front runners. So nobody else wants to go through what it takes to actually get social change in this country. Nobody wants to bleed. Nobody wants to be, you know what I'm saying, persecuted in the street.
Yeah, I
So,
wasn't necessarily going on that one. I was thinking about like a lot of the programs. Okay, if we do this program right here, what are going to be the effects of it? You know, like I don't want to go too far off, and you still have more of this video to play, so I'll just go there. And so let's do that if you don't mind.
okay, all right. I wasn't getting what you were saying, but it's all good. Let's do it.
Kids, your thought process is now talking about building generational wealth. What am I leaving to my children? What kind of communities do I want my children to come up in? What are the educational opportunities? What's going on with the economy? How does, you know, and then to a broader level, how does foreign policy and all these other public policy issues flow into that? And so when you compare the terrible agenda of Joe Biden and what that's done to families in America, coinciding with the fact that you are seeing a reformation of Black families in America today, which is an absolutely wonderful thing and needs to continue. My view is it also coincides with a more conservative leaning and a more conservative mindset politically in those families.
One thing I really want to just get you to address is there were a lot of people who heard what you had to say, and a lot of them are offended by the idea that you would repeat Jim Crow 3 times in your comments, as if
Can
to
you pause it
suggest
briefly?
that that was a time period because that Black families were, in your words, together.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick. This is what I hate, and the left is very good at this. This faux outrage or what have you. Bruh, listen, and you and me, we both hip hop fans, I'm pretty sure, especially old school shit, you know. The vile shit that motherfuckers say to each other daily or what have you is 10 times, if we had to really weigh it, it's 10 times more offensive than him. And this is what I heard, what he said or what have you, that she's describing and acting, you know, like, oh, it was just like he basically said, well, you have to sacrifice, like he said, quotes, you have to sacrifice bitches to get ahead, you know, or you have to sacrifice. He didn't say anything of the kind, which I would think would warrant her. She's not really being outraged or whatever, but she's just bringing up the point. And it's funny when these leftist puppets say these points. It's like, rather, and let me land the plane here. They're trying to stifle opposition. Big Mike, West Side.
Yes.
I remember watching these old school Malcolm X clips. And you can go into them when he's talking to William F. Buckley and all these guys. They let him talk. And then they would just ask little provocative questions. They would, you know, they weren't, and that's what it was more hostile, you know, for a Black person to be saying these viewpoints. Whereas here, she's invoking, it's disguised as people are saying or whatever, but she's invoking her her personal feelings, and it's just straight up gatekeeper nonsense.
Hey, now I will say this. I have to put this out here. You're looking at somebody that's from Trinidad on your left, the female, talking to someone who is Jamaican and Panamanian. Now,
that's what I'm saying.
I have is why are they having this conversation?
That's what I'm saying at the end of the day. I mean, they allow this bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
I had to check the lineage.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This is problematic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough if you're on. I'm just looking at the message right now, but fair enough. Okay. But I was just describing her tactics that
Yeah,
she
her
was
tactics
using.
are terrible. She's terrible. I'm not saying what he's saying is terrible. All I'm saying is, how does he know this? Jamaicans and Panamanians weren't here during Jim Crow.
Well, he's another Negro Bob Jim puppet. I mean, let's be
I
100.
no. I'm not going to call him that at all because I've seen what legislation he's passed. I've seen what legislation he's passed that has benefited Black people here. It's easy to say that. It's easy to dismiss all these guys. He's done more locally in his own district than many of these, as you say, puppets have done in theirs. Maxine Waters is a good example. She's been in Congress for 31 years, and LA is worse of, or her district is worse of a shithole than it was. Now, is it solely on her?
No,
No.
that's true. That's true.
And
No,
what
that's
I'm
true.
saying,
But I'm just saying the rhetoric and what's said. I mean, cool, you can pass a good bill, but let's be 100 though. He's got to make sure it's good with the other people. We'll say it like that. Now, if it benefits us indirectly or directly, cool. But I'm just, that don't do nothing for me. I know what you're talking about. I know about these guys. I just like to talk the way I talk. I'm not gonna sit here and I don't like dance around the circle. I don't.
okay, that's fine. My thing
But why
is,
don't he
these other
talk
guys-
about the Jim Crow down there with his? That's my thing. That's why I get offended when people talk about my stuff, and then he always talk about you ain't got this, you ain't got the mom and the dad. I mean, talk about what's going on in the Caribbean down there. It's horrible down there, but he don't want to do that for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. I'm still wondering why they're centering other people that aren't here in these conversations. This is part of the things that's undermining us really being able to get where we need to be. Now, you're always going to have somebody that's going to be closer to what you agree. And I'm not saying that the brother isn't doing the right work in his community. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying just because he's foreign, he's not doing anything to benefit us or anything like that. All I'm saying is, how is he qualified to have a conversation about Black people in Jim Crow when Panamanians and Jamaicans were not really hearing those type of numbers during Jim Crow?
That's fair enough.
How was she able to question him about what he said about Jim Crow when Trinidadians were not hearing any large numbers during Jim Crow? Why are these discussions?
I don't necessarily disagree with that. I will say this though, the fact that this conversation is on CNN, I could also say what slant that they're trying to promote me to. Case in point, I believe, no, you weren't talking about this earlier, and I'm confusing your channel with another one, but we've been programmed to believe many people, they wasn't for us or this, whatever. And that's not the case when you read some of their briefings or some of their verdicts. You probably know who I'm talking about, but we don't really get into it like that. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, most of us, I'm not talking about you two, most of us don't really get down into politics like this because we don't think it's interesting. We don't think it moves the wheel. And we think that, it's not for us. And I think it's our lack of engagement that has gotten us in this situation. So that's just my take. If you want to play it, go ahead. And by the way, I appreciate hearing your guys' discussion.
Because I would ask this guy, is he for the Republic or is he a Republican? That's a huge difference, what I just said there. Now, some may understand or overstand what I'm saying, but if I got down to the nitty gritty with this character, I guarantee you he would be a Republican, not for the Republic. And that's what I'm saying when you have the R or the D or whatever. What sets you claim at the again? This is what we have to talk about nowadays. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. You can know that answer is very easy. Look at where they accept their money from. Simply put, anybody can go to their sites and you will see for most leftist people, they will have the Open Society, which is George Soros' foundation. Now, this is where it gets into the Israel and all this. And I say this, that's it's easy for me to talk about government and I'm not in it, but anybody that knows, whether you have your business or you work in corporate America or whatever, there are some alliances or compromises you may have to get into. Now, to what you're willing to stand up to or what the effects is, that's to be debated. I think I think, listen, to me, he's going against the status quo. So the fact that he's just going against it and on CNN, which unfortunately nobody really watches, but
Right.
these make good good for good viral clips or what have you. So that's just my take. I think it's a little bit deeper than, they collecting this money. I mean, this dude's gonna already take heat because here, let me go on screen. This dude's already gonna take heat because he's got a white wife. That's gonna immediately invalidate 70%
As it
of his
should.
arguments.
As
I
it should, my friend. As it should, because
I disagree.
we
I disagree. But-
that's
and I don't-
cool, but we got to update the narrative. Who you lay down with and who you marry and who you
Uh-huh.
give your lineage to is going to speak volumes, and usually they side with that. So if I'm a lot of people don't want to look in the mirror and really get down to the nitty gritty here, because when you look at cultures and all that and how they get broken down, this is the infiltration techniques, what they do. So I mean, I hear you, that's cool, but
well, to me, that's a very
you can't trust
simplistic. That's a very simplistic observation, respectfully, and I say that to you because I do respect your points or whatever. I think it's very simplistic because culturally things have changed a lot, or what have you. Case
No,
in
it
point,
hasn't. No, it hasn't.
oh really? So you're telling me that many people follow what we call, like, many people don't stop at what we call traditional culture? I'm not saying I'm for it, but we, here, let's just cut to the chase. The real problem is this: Black people hate conservatism because it's not cool.
Nah, that's not it.
It is.
That's not it. No, that's not it.
That's one part. That's not. Well, I'll say differently. Most people hate that, and many people want to fit in. Okay, now who you lay down with is whose values you agree with, in a sense. Okay, I can tell you plenty of people have no problem, for example, with Barack Obama, but Barack Obama is allegedly Rainbow and Michelle is just a beard, right? But are we supposed to be that simplistic to believe? And again, whether you believe that or not, regardless, but I'm supposed to believe, even though his policies, when you look at his background, align with that of, how do I say, something that he's not promoting. It's like, it doesn't matter to me that he's with a Black woman or anything like this. Everybody's
it should, and Barack Hussein Obama came out of a white womb. Okay, so that's the evil path, number one. And then number two, his father was not even his father, the African guy, for one. And he was.
I agree with you.
He was a script by one of those alphabet people. So let's just keep it there.
I agree with you completely.
But,
listen,
and then Reverend Wright told us one day, when he told so-called Black people of the world, okay, don't fall for this goddamn clown right here. But look where we're at. So what I'm saying is, if you look at, but if you look at anybody, because I only person I can name that was married to a white woman that was stand up and had some sense on that, it wasn't no goofy motherfucker, was Frederick Douglass. The rest of these clowns that are married or dating, they're wishy-washy, they're weird, they're just fucking weird,
I think
right?
you're looking way too much on the surface, because plenty of these.
No, it's true. Because okay, name one modern so-called Black man that's married to a white woman that's got children and all this kind of bullshit like that, and that's creating these mutants, right? Name one that's a stand-up person that's gonna make sense, that's gonna be down for their people.
In government, okay, hold on a second. When you say down for your people, do you equate that, like me? I'm past that point of just because we're the same complexion, we have the same values and beliefs or whatever, right? I'm past that, and I'm speaking to somebody who used to be in the NOI or what have you, right? So all that. By the way, pardon the noise. They just increased the music in here. Now, okay, and we can further here. Let me step outside for a second. But I'll say this: can I think of anyone off the top? No, but and the reason I can't is because I'm not
concerned. There's none. That's why.
No. I promise you, I can name a few, but I don't get into the. So you'd rather somebody be with a Keisha who's a hood rat? I'm using an extreme, for example. Who's a hood rat? No. That's what you're saying. Right. That's what you're saying. No,
I didn't say Keisha.
Black.
No, I didn't even put a race on. I said no. You see, that's how I know we're doing a circular talk. I just said white woman. I didn't say it's Matt. I said white woman. I said these coon boon Jones that are married to these white women. You can't trust them. And it's tried and true.
So if they have an Asian woman or a Latina woman, does that qualify?
And ZP, we talking about, I gotta allege this because this weird motherfucker's running his mouth. What the fuck are you talking about, do racist ways? I'm talking about what's happening, what's going on. So this fucking clown. Anyway,
hold on, man. Let me explain something. Let me explain something, man. I'm gonna make it simple. As long as black women are accepting black women with white husbands in positions of power, there's no blowback from that from the Democratic side. There's no blowback on Kamala Harris from CNN. There's no blowback on Ketanji Jackson on the other. There's no blowback on any of these black women that have white husbands. I think that it should be equal across the board.
We can meet in the middle there.
Yeah,
Good
I
point.
think,
Let's move on.
that's a good middle point. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We see that it's acceptable on one end, but then it's not acceptable when you have a penis.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
I would say
but I'm really saying on both ends, so I can be clear. I'm not saying whether it be a black woman married to a white dude or whatever. I'm saying on both ends. I'm just saying you cannot trust. And then where does your rights, where does your coat of arms go to? Where does your politics go to? Where does your soul go to? You sleeping and married to this person, you talking about that you're fighting against.
But here's where
no
you just said something. Where do your politics go to? Liberal. Here, I'm going to say it flat out. Liberal politics do not work for black people. Period.
True. Facts. True.
Okay.
True.
Thanks.
True.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think we could agree on that one. Let's keep on going. Y'all want to keep going or what?
No, please. Let's go.
Okay.
Because in your words, black people were not just more
Hey,
conservative.
fellas, I'm running to the restroom, so it's not going to be able to stop for a few minutes. All right.
Go ahead.
All right.
They voted more conservatively. That's a good thing. I mean, it sounds like nostalgia. Do you regret using that time frame as a reference?
Nobody ever made nostalgia. That was never the point. It wasn't even about that. So now I'm going to get my backup is I didn't say that. I didn't even insinuate that. That is where the media and yes, Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of other people are taking
what exactly didn't you
No,
insinuate?
back up.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. What didn't you insinuate?
The premise of your question, I did not insinuate. That is what people are trying to weave into what I said. What I said is crystal clear. It's on my social media. Go to @Byron Donalds on X. You can see the full clip. Abby, I appreciate you playing the full clip. What you are dealing with right now is a political environment where now anything I might say or any major surrogate might say is going to be twisted into the lens of race. That was never the point, not the idea
I just want
whatsoever.
just to clarify my questioning of you.
Sure.
I mean, I understand that this idea that you said it was better. You didn't use the words better, but when you talk about that time period, you're suggesting that because the black family was together, they were better off than they are now.
See, this is the problem, Abby.
So are you saying that that's not the case? That the black family was not better off
I did
when
not
they
say
were,
that.
in your
Abby,
words, together?
Abby, let me put it to you
the
like
Jim
this.
Crow era.
Let's agree on something. I am, obviously one of the better communicators in the Republican Party. I know how to put words together. I do it very, very often. So I'm not going to say something that I do not agree with. What America is seeing right now, especially Black America, is the gaslighting that unfortunately does happen in politics, where you take my comments and you want to weave your own political viewpoint into what I said. What I said is very clear.
I asked you to explain because I wanted
to
I want to undo is understand what you're saying here. Because if you're making a comparison, you're saying the black family was together then, they're not together now, and you're using that to try to say that things are bad now. Well, first of all, let me just to set the table here. By pretty much every available measure, black families, black individuals in this country are better off today than they were during Jim Crow. Would you agree with that?
Abby, of course I would. I'm not making that point, and this is the problem. What the Democrats, what Hakeem Jeffries did on the House floor, what Jamie Harrison, what the president of the NAACP, what the Biden campaign, because they're the ones who started this, it was really the Biden campaigns who were trying to cherry pick everything. They're trying to twist my words into saying something. I never said that. What I was talking about was specifically black families. And the point that black families being together is a great thing for the black community. And you do have to acknowledge the empirical fact that before Lyndon Johnson's policies and the welfare state that was created in the United States, I'm not talking about good, bad, or indifferent. Black families were, black marriage rates were significantly higher.
Well, what
They're
about other
rising
things that
again
might
in
have,
America. That's a good
what
thing. We
about
should
other
celebrate
things that may have contributed to the, maybe the decline in marriage rates, which, by the way, is not unique to Black families. That's happening actually across racial groups. But what about other things? I mean, what about redlining? Do you think that that had an effect on the Black family? What about mass incarceration? What about the war on drugs, which was
mass
Thank you.
incarceration was a Bill Clinton, Joe Biden thing.
Facts.
Done. Period.
Done. Period. And Congressional Black Caucus.
Ooh, extra facts! Exclamation point.
Right.
And hold on a second. I love looking them up, and they all. And hold on a second, real quick. 1988 cocaine versus crack bill. Every single CBC member voted yes for that. Continue.
Yes. But the reason I'm showing this is because I want to tie back into what they were talking about, discrediting, undermining. They have to get people that aren't from this soil to do this. And I'm mainly talking about her right now. This gentleman happens to be on the right side of the argument, even though I don't feel like he's qualified to make the argument. Neither one of them are qualified to have the conversation, but I'm going to have to go with him on this one.
Pushed by a Republican president whose advisor said it was specifically to target Black people. What about all of those things?
Look, if you want to talk about redlining and a lot of the other policies that were put forward, quite frankly, by the Democrat Party, if you're going to go back to Jim Crow, Jim Crow was Democrat policies.
Well,
That's what that was.
I know that you know
Don't
this.
cut me off when I'm trying to make a point.
Let me just, I have to correct on a factual point here. I know that you know that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party of today are ideologically not what they were during Jim Crow. You know that, Congressman. So to suggest that, the Democrats of 1920.
They are ideologically what they were the other day.
Well,
they are ideologically what they were the other day.
Say that again, sir.
Yeah, they are.
Your channel.
Yeah, they're ideologically.
I was going to say, and that big switch thing is a fucking lie. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, here's the deal. There was never a big switch outside of social policies. And that's very surface social policies.
What state you from again, sir?
Say what?
What state you're from again?
I'm from Alabama.
George Wallace ran as what until 1977?
He ran into a Democrat as a Democrat.
Thank you.
Yes.
And can we say it together? Separation now or separation today?
Segregation now or segregation today, segregation tomorrow, or segregation
forever.
Exactly. No side has a moral high ground on the other side. Like I say, honestly, I feel like conservatism is, I think most Black families in this country are conservative.
Right.
I think most Black families, they stick together. I don't give a damn what anybody's talking about. Like, it's just a bunch of Black orphans out this motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, you got all types of different things that that impact single parent households. Right. It's not just that a woman left the man and she took the kid and all that shit. It's dudes that have been locked up behind the drug war.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's dudes that have been killed in the drug war. It's women that would be married, but now are widows. You know what I mean? They're not baby mamas. They're literally widows. So it's all types of different factors that played into why we have the problems that we have now. I do think integration is one of those factors.
Mm-hmm. Big factor.
Integration is one of those factors. Like I said, good conversation with those two, even though she was utterly ridiculous. But at the end of the day, neither one of them were qualified to have the conversation.
Well, here's my take on that one. Whatever I want to. Okay, we somewhat agree with these things. We should have these kind of conversations. Okay,
you're going in and out, Sir Tice. You're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I didn't want you to hear the noise, and then when I went out, the Wi-Fi came. Got distorted. I guess I was just gonna say basically, I want the conversations that we used to once have like this, where we're gonna disagree, and we're supposed to fucking disagree as men. This is
Damn right.
what we're supposed to do, But now we've been so pussified. I'm not talking about us. I'm just saying that
Period.
anything that disagrees with our point of view, it hurts our feelings, or you shouldn't say that. What the fuck you mean? I mean, again, Big Mike, I'll focus on you because you're more of the millennial. I'm sorry, you're more of the Gen Xer, and it's no disrespect to you, West Side. Man, we grew up with TV series that were just about disagreeing. From Archie Bunker to Good Times. Where it was straight up contrast. And again, I'm not saying that TV should be our education or our guide. I'm saying that's how we would challenge ideas.
Right.
Whereas now this chick, and I don't want to go back to our previous discussions. I want to say this. Listen, I think she's an attractive sister. Hey, call me what it is. But why are you wearing this damn hair? You talking all this black shit, but you wearing that hair? I don't get when people try to do that shit. If we can focus on the blackity black, she's doing this, but she's being a typical gatekeeper that she has to be. One more thing. I know people, personal friends of mine who used to work for the Wall Street Journal. Remember, I said used to because the media has changed. And they would often say they would have to take stances that they didn't believe. But shit, when you got a mortgage in New York or Connecticut, man, that's a hard thing, Yeah,
Right.
you're going to kind of ride the company line. And we have to sometimes consider that. But we're supposed to be smart enough to know that, hey, maybe their bias comes from where their position is. Shout out Don Lemon. Of course, Don Lemon wants to keep as much white penis as he access as he has. So he's gonna fight. So he's gonna fight for these issues and shit. He's looking out for his message.
Did you say
right?
he's gonna fight for the inches?
I said white penis.
Oh.
I mean, and by the way, super pause on that. I'm just spitfiring or whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess I'm just making the point in that, man, we have been led by our black artists since Paul Robeson, what I said earlier. And that has not gotten us anywhere, man. I'm not saying, go ahead.
Let me interject on that, because Paul Robeson, Marian Anderson, people like artists like that, I would say all the way up to Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? I would say that, yeah, at that point in time, the artists did lead and they were different, but these artists now, definitely not.
Oh, well, at least back then, and I'll give you credit on what you just said, in that at least they were informed to an extent, like Harry Belafonte.
Right.
Even I tell people, I'm like, y'all some hypocrites trying to talk about Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson supported Richard Nixon and shit, right? Okay, okay. But again, most of us don't know the history. I'm like, man, if y'all knew what y'all knew, y'all would hate that motherfucker or whatever, right? Now, and mind you, this is somebody who dealt with what we call, when I say real racism, like shit. I'm one of y'all best in the American sport at the time or whatever, and I gotta deal with this shit on the road. Nowadays, if look at Russell Westbrook, who gets somebody says something, oh, they racist or whatever. Look at what that man had to deal with. But I digress and going too deep in the weeds there. I guess I was just basically saying how people once thought in comparison to now, and the obstacles are different.
Right. Well, Jackie Robinson single-handedly destroyed the Negro League, but we'll save that for another show.
Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby. But you know who destroyed it? The owners who said, fuck you.
Right.
Think about this. Tony Kukoc, I'll never forget this shit because I'm a Pistons fan. Man, the Bulls had to pay a shit ton of money to get Tony Kukoc, even though they drafted him.
Right.
We were giving our talent away for free. I mean, what? Who thought this was a good idea?
Right. Hey, check this out. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this one. You see what's going on with this whole situation on this interview. I'm gonna move kind of into the next phase of the show, and let me minimize this. Hold on one second. I'm proud of myself, man. I didn't do any Red Cup Nation tonight, man. I'm proud of myself, man. Y'all
I'm
give
proud
me,
of you too.
give me a hand. Hey, Sir Tice, you over there on that clear cup over there, man. I see.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna say,
see.
what's usually in the red cup if we may ask while you queue up the video?
I like beer. I like beer.
Man, I used to listen. I used to be a red stripe loyalist.
Yeah.
Man, I can't. I do occasionally, like if it's the only thing you have or whatever. But now I'm just Tito's Club Soda. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
There's
can't.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, man. I used to love the dark, but I can't do the dark anymore.
Man, I got so much brown liquors of Keisha Lance bottles.
Say brown liquor.
Shout out to Keisha Lance bottoms with the brown liquor. You know what I mean? So this next thing I'm gonna read, man.
She said that.
And yeah, she said that, man, during the
Once again,
riots in
before you do
2020.
your intro or whatever, shout out to well, I'm not a Belvedere. Shout out, but Fanny, what's her name? Willis. Yeah,
Fanny
you know,
Willis?
she like the Belvederes, right? You know.
Hey man, look. Oh, she like the Grey Goose. I just drank Grey Goose.
My bad. I thought I said they both the same to me.
I want to know some shit though, man.
Please talk.
I went to Popeyes the other week, man. I was out and about, man, and I decided to stop at Popeyes and get me a little chicken sandwich and shit.
Spicy.
Shit.
Look, how about I was in front of Fannie Willis in the fucking drive-thru, bro? I kid you not.
Get the fuck out of here.
I kid you not. I was in front of her, man.
What was she rolling? I'm just curious.
Audi.
A BMW. Okay,
Audi.
she had an Audi. Okay.
Yeah. If it wasn't you, Fanny, you feel free to call in and correct me. But she looked just like you. Got a doppelganger that eat a lot of chicken around this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Yeah.
1 second. $2,000. Do you think that it was? No. I'm just like, of course, that was probably her. Like, shit, I need to get me a wing and a breast combo.
Oh yeah. She definitely looked like she'd be tearing the wings a piece.
Clean off the bones and all that.
With the fingernail and shit. She'd be tearing the wing just strip for strip and shit. Yeah.
I was looking at her while you queuing up your video. I'm like, okay, I see why Nathan Wade came to this. You know how we can read as men. Like, okay, she looks like she slobbed very well, you know.
Oh my God. Hey man, look, man, one of my brothers, man, that I work with said the same thing, man. It's like, golly, once Fanny came with the dress backwards, everybody want to get domed out. You know what I mean? Gee,
it's supposed to be a political show.
I know. It's political.
I love it.
It's political.
I'm teasing you, man. No, this is three brothers. We just kicking in this shit.
Did y'all see Nathan Wade on with Marlon Wayans on the interview? Did you see that?
Hey man, was that true, or was that a clip when Marlon Wayans did that little stunt where he turned around like, was she taking it like this? Was that real?
That was
real.
Yeah, y'all want to see that? Let's see that before we go. Go to this. Let's see that before we go.
I swear to God, I thought that was a.
Let's look. And this is fair use, man. This is fair use for entertainment. All right. So I think this is the Daily Show. They might tag my ass, but we're gonna do it anyway, man. Why not? Y'all down?
Just do it real quick. Like keep it less than 10 seconds.
I can't do
take
it. I can't do it.
Take the sound down. Take the sound down. That's all you got to do.
You got to hear it though. It's okay. I'm not monitoring. Coordinate the way, man. That's what your boy Nathan Wade doing. Gee whiz.
Yeah, I hope I didn't lose signal. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I hope I never saw that in its entirety.
I'm losing you now.
I disagree with some of the agendas he's also promoting, but Nathan Wade has to do these things with what he's doing right now. That's just crazy, man. But there was something I was gonna say about what he said in the skit or what have you, and it's like, dude, stop it. Old girl, shout out to Ashley Babbitt. I don't care what side of the aisle you on. When they showed his billing, and his lack of itemization and all this, and they broke him down to basically being a puppet. And then let's be honest, I think that dude was like an ambulance chaser. He
Hey,
wasn't some Rico.
you said Ashley Babbitt that she dead.
Okay, Ashley Babbitt is the one who was in January 6th. Who's the
Ashley
attorney
Merchant.
that was on the
Ashley
Merchant?
Ashley
My
Merchant.
bad. Thank you for that correction. And what have you. No, I appreciate that. So I guess what I was getting at is when she showed his billing, and it was something else. Oh, he's basically an ambulance chaser, and you coming in on a RICO case, your level of understanding the law is completely different, man. And the fact that people don't understand this, and it has nothing to do with him being a black man and all this other shit, it's just like, dude, don't you know that when you sign up for something like this, where it's like what whatever the gay dude on the wire whose name I can't think that people worship, Omar.
Yeah.
Omar, when you come for the king, you better not miss or whatever. When you doing some shit like that, man, they're not just, dare I say, there's a reason why Fulton County took that case. And this is what I mean about the social engineering, although you might disagree. They knew that, these gullible people will take this damn case, what have you. Even though their potential licenses could be invalidated. I say could be. It probably won't because it'll look like retaliation. But we got to be smart about the things that we choose, man. Nobody's just coming up to you in the blue. Hey, you want to prosecute? I wouldn't do that shit for Biden. I'm like, nah, I'm going to take a pass on that one.
Nah, bro.
Because y'all trying to set me up.
I ain't taking a shot at the king. You know what I mean? Because if you miss, man, it's the consequences to deal
exactly.
with. And what you're finding right now, especially since they've actually tried to, take this man out, they said the shooter had pictures of Fannie Willis in his phone.
Okay. I have not heard that. I trust your observation. That is crazy.
Yeah, they say he had a picture of Fannie Willis in the phone, not like a photo, but like something he downloaded off the internet. So, her face is on the scene. Jasmine Crockett, her face is on the scene. Benny Thompson, his face is on the scene. One of his staffers came out and basically said that, the assassin should have been a better shot. The would-be assassin should be a better shot for next time.
Yeah, not only did I see that, she got fired the next day. And this is, I do love seeing this because and again, look, I'm not caping for Donald Trump or anything like that. You're as a case in point. I didn't say anything about the attempted assassination or whatever, right? I said that deliberately, whatever. Because, man, we already got too much tracking as this. This shit gonna literally, and you work for a congressman, gonna point that shit and say, you need to get better training.
Right.
Good. I'm glad you got fired because it just shows you have no discernment whatsoever.
Right. And you know something? You're working for the congressman who was actively vying for Trump's Secret Service detail to be cut.
Is that not insane? Dude, thank you. Is that not insane or what? Exactly.
Yeah, and Jasmine Crockett, the little loud chick who getting who going viral. You know what I'm saying? They setting these cats up, man. They setting them up. Now everybody that's gone after Trump, all you see is black faces.
And we're supposed to be the smart ones to figure out, look, I ain't gonna be used to do y'all bidding. Hey man, have you ever heard of I promise you I'll send you this, or put your or take my email down right now. It's sirtice@gmail.com and send me an email. SYRTYCE. Have you heard of goddamn it, Irritated Genie?
Nah.
Oh man.
Oh, you talking about the dude?
We're gonna really talk or whatever, right? But yeah, I understand about here.
You talking about the agent provocateur dude?
Big Mike, go ahead.
Is that you talking about?
Continue your show.
Oh yeah. Yo, you say it's an agent provocateur?
Yeah, Irritated Genie. That's that guy back in 2000.
I didn't say that. I'm saying there's more to it. But let me take care of this right here. Just give me a second. I can still hear you.
All right.
I don't want to hold up your show.
Bet.
Yeah, he came out around 2000, 11, 12, around that time period. And he was doing stuff with Professor Griff and whatnot. You talking about that guy, right?
As I wait now, how is it, dude? That's why that dude capitulated real quick and said that person is no longer a staffer of mine. What's that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because he know everybody's scattering and running for cover. Even Biden. You think Biden got COVID? And he showed up without a damn mask on. Did y'all see
I
Biden
know.
getting off the plane the
Was
other
that
night?
not the most was that not the most staged nonsense?
Right.
Like we know you're trying to agree to a settlement to step aside and all this other thing, and we can take bets later on when we think. I think it's gonna be Gavin Newsom and Kamala or Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think Kamala's gonna make it. I don't think she's gonna make it, man. They're saying right now that Biden doesn't even want to endorse her.
Well, he doesn't. Remember, they don't really like each other. They just do that for photo ops or whatever. Remember, she's the one that called him a racist, right?
And she said she agreed with the woman that said Joe Biden, art her.
Right.
You remember?
Right. Yeah. No, not only do I remember, man, this is one thing where identity politics can mess you up. Hey, look, I'll admit, I'm still one of the guys who's happy when I see a black man until I hear his politics, whatever, or his philosophies. But nonetheless, I'm still one of those people. And I get that a lot of citizens are like that. But that chick never, ever, ever said she was a sister until it was politically expedient. Like when she was smashing Willie Brown in San Francisco, she was Indian. When she was smashing, what's the dude with the TV show? I was going to say Montel Griffin. Not Montel Jordan.
Montel Williams.
Montel Williams, thank you. Yeah, she was this. And you would think that many of the so-called sisters, and I use so-called for a reason, they'd be like, she's being fake to us. But many people just love the symbolism. And that's a whole other topic that we can get into, and how the Marxists use symbolism to their advantage very well,
Absolutely.
But I'll add to this. I'll land the plane here. If they do that with Whitmer and remove her completely, they're not going to be vocal about it on their social media because they're what am I trying to say? They're forever aligned with the left, but they're not going to come out, and they're going to be the ones who's going to set the house on fire. And I can't wait.
I can't blame them at all. But hey, before we move away from this, man, I just thought y'all like to see a little throwback funny real quick before we move on to the next segment.
Because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees. Because they deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket when it should go to benefit children. Because we deserve better.
There we go, man. Shout out to Fonnie Willis, man.
Shout out to Fonnie, always consistent.
Fonnie at Popeyes, you know what I'm saying? Popeyes is always consistent. That's who consistent.
Especially on the spicy. The one fast food chain that I will endorse. That's the one.
Absolutely. So we got Democratic strategist James Carville, aka the Raging Cajun. I know y'all have seen him on CNN. James Carville. This article was written in April of 2021, April 27, 2021, by Sean Illing. And the name of this article, the title is Wokeness is a Problem, and we all know it. So what is wokeness? I decided to look into that because a lot of people, especially Democrats, are throwing this fear campaign out about 2025 and Project 2025 and how it's going to target wokeness and woke. So woke has typically been considered a code word for black. But I looked at Wikipedia. Wikipedia is the world's foremost authority on everything. And this was Wikipedia's version of woke. Let's look. So woke is a political slang adjective derived from African-American Vernacular English, AAVE, never heard of it, originally meaning alertness to racial prejudice and discrimination. Beginning in the 2010s, it came to encompass a broader awareness of social inequalities, such as racial injustice, sexism, and denial of LGBT rights. So once again, ask yourself again, what is woke And why are we being used to promote woke when it was derived from what we said? It wasn't what we said. The same thing happened with the phrase Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter started out as a fight phrase. You know what I mean? A rally call, a rally cry.
Well, woke to me is eugenic. When I think of woke, can you hear me? Check one, two.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Does he hear me? Because he's like
hold on, there you go, Westside.
All right, yeah, I was saying the woke movement to me in its entirety is eugenics. That's woke.
Eugenics. Explain.
Eugenics.
I can't hear Westside.
You can't hear him?
No, you can?
I can hear him, yeah.
I'll come in and come out.
All right, come in, come out.
Yeah. So I was saying, when you look at the analysis of how they create these environments, whether it be through reproduction, whether it be money, whether it be how you live and propaganda, and you're this, you're that, and these words and these terms, that is the woke movement. And it equals to me eugenics. It's not some Negroes on Black Panther, doing a hand sign or whatever it may be they're doing with this woke thing. Woke is really eugenics.
I'm not quite sure I understand it, but I'm not here to understand everything. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a term like, okay, you kind of talk down to people. It's a term of making somebody feel like they're lesser than, or they're stupid, or they're easily swayed to by whatever type of movement that's out there. And we've been taught the woke program ever since we have really came around them. We've had to learn their language. We've had to learn their pseudo history. We've had to listen to their pseudo music. That's really ours. We've had to be in their woke program forever. So the woke thing is eugenics.
Gotcha. Me and my buddy were talking about this the other day because we were talking about the difference between liberal racism and conservative racism. So, people will tell you if you're even considering a Trump vote or anything of that nature, people will immediately bring up his racism. But what we don't realize is the liberals have a racism that's way more insidious. Their racism kind of lines up with the scientific racism. They treat so-called Black people like we're just poor specimens who have to have them in order to make it. So I get what you're saying.
Hey, we had to learn, the Johnny Apple tree and all this kind of mess like that. This woke thing is there. That's their movement. So it's funny how they reversed it on us and say, okay, here's that woke Black stuff. No, that's that woke white stuff.
Do you think that they reversed it, or I won't say we allowed it? Hear me out. I'm not blaming this all on Black people, but it's no different than Me Too. People don't realize Me Too was a Black woman, albeit she looked like KRS-One, but it was a Black woman. So when
Tarana Burke.
When Harvey Weinstein settled with CBS, did they give her company or LLC or whatever 10% of that settlement? Of course not. Here, I'm gonna surprise you probably both. I laugh at that Wikipedia decision or definition. Give me just 1 second. So the Wikipedia definition, I remember in the 90s, woke just meant you had, I hate using these words, but I'm going to say it for the sake of our understanding, you had some sense of consciousness to you. In other words, you understood we weren't just meek wheelie slaves. You had some understanding of things on both sides of the continent.
Right. But they take the concepts and the precepts that we come up with, and then they hijack it, which was what I was talking about with that song, that They Not Like Us song, how they're trying to do it. You're watching them do it right now.
Right. Okay. Hey, guys, I was just trying to settle something, so I apologize there. And she said something to me differently. Yeah, it meant you had, okay, real quick. Back in the 70s, when I had older cousins and uncles who were in school and colleges in the 70s, man, you had to read things like Man Child in the Promised Land, Black Boy, Oh God, I'm trying to think of some of these other classic books. What's W.E.B. Du Bois's classic book off the top? I'm just saying
The
there was a
soul of color, black
the
folk.
Soul. Thank you. That
Color
was
black.
exactly the one. So you have to read these things, and whether you agree with them or not, and by the way, part of these things were one part indoctrination or whatever, but also, and you had to read some of the James Bond, Go Tell It on the Bound, and all these things. And it's like, okay, I have some general understanding, but shout out to Neely Fuller and
Yes.
the Dr. Francis Quest Welsing, which was not a part of those curriculums, but
Facts.
you came across those books and it made you like, whoa, this goes completely against what I've learned. That was like, okay, you're awakened, but we would say, whoa. Now, how they bastardized it, and then we as black people are supposed to be the ones, to where it's becoming this social justice shit. And I'll end on this. Forget what Malcolm X said about liberals. I'll say this. I want my racism raw, rare. Don't even put it on the grill. I want it raw. I like it like that. Not this insidious, oh, we have to teach you different and we have to teach you a different curriculum to accommodate your dialect or lack thereof. So we have to lessen the standards. And what they're really doing is making sure you never compete. And because it's so flattering and they like us and they hold us and we're used for photo ops or what have you as children, oh, they seem like the caring people or whatever. And that's how many liberals are. And again, I'm not saying so-called traditional conservatives are different, but I will say this. There is a changing of the guard right now. Many people are realizing these stereotypes don't really fit what things are. And you were jumping in, so go right ahead.
Conservative racists are actually different. Because one thing about conservative racists, they don't want to be around us. Liberal racists have to be around us and be on the inside causing havoc, confusion, misinformation, disinformation, chaos.
Yeah.
Agent provocateurs. That is the difference.
Hey, brother, real quick.
Yo.
Real quick. No, I got it. When the Georgia, okay, I lived in Minnesota. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, if you don't know. Born and raised. And I went to school in Minnesota. And I lived there for 15 years. Why? Whatever on that one. But yeah, I'm like, those type of frigid temperatures, no human should ever have to go through. But here's the point, and the reason why Minnesota is very attractive to a lot of black people is Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, Omaha, Des Moines, Iowa. I'm forgetting probably one more city. They have Minnesota is like 3M, Pillsbury, United Health Group. They have a lot of Fortune 500 companies, and then they were reaching out to a lot of HBCUs to get talent. Okay, so let's stop there. Let's go back to the George Floyd rallies and all this stuff. Man, those places that they burned up and destroyed was a black neighborhood, man. And I've been back and forth there visiting. Nothing is there. The black businesses there are gone forever. And I want people, I'm like, y'all did all this shit. Oh, this is my main point. Man, during those riots, I got people sending me the videos who are there. They're like, man, I don't know who the fuck some of these people are. I've never seen them here. Man, all these agent provocateurs were there, setting fires of shit, some on video, some breaking like the AutoZone shit. And it's on full camera, man, for you to see. And I'm like, I even don't realize how we're getting played by these motherfuckers. And that's why I get into the whole Trojan horse thing. But I just wanted to use that recent example or whatever to explain to you how they're killing commerce and things like that.
Well, yeah, that's the woke movement they send in. Just like when so-called black folks call each other, what do they say? You're hotep, right? It's the same thing when pale face people say woke. It's the same type of spell, if you will, but we're none of that crap.
Right.
That's a great point.
Let me get into this real quick, and then we'll move on because I want to still get it. I still want to get into the Marcel Dixon and Myron Gaines argument. Did y'all hear that argument on?
Yeah, I did. That was good. Marcel cooked them up.
He cooked them good.
I heard some parts of that one, and Marcel is good in this. But I don't like Myron, generally speaking. and I do agree with his general points, but Myron's, I don't want to be like, he ain't one of us, but Myron's arguing from a different interest standpoint. But go ahead.
All right. So James Carville, wokeness is a problem and we all know it. So here's Sean Ailing. He said, I called James Carville hoping to get his thoughts on President Joe Biden's first 100 days in office. He obliged, then one question in, brushed aside to exercise to talk instead about why the Democrats might be poised to squander their political advantage against the damaged GOP. His failure to cooperate may have been for the best, since the first 100 days ritual can sometimes lead to dull, dutiful analysis. What Carville offered up instead was a blunt critique of his own party, even after a successful 2020 election cycle. A sequel of sorts to his fulminations during last year's Democratic primaries. The longtime Democratic strategist is mostly pleased with Biden, but it's where much of the party seems to be going that has him worried. Wokeness is a problem, he told me, and we all know it. According to Carville, Democrats are in power now. Let me put my glasses on. I'm tripping. That might help. There we go. All right.
You need your red cup.
Yeah, I know, right? Wokeness is a problem, he told me. We all know it. According to Carville, Democrats are in power for now, but they are also only narrowly defeated. They also only narrowly defeated Donald Trump, a world historical buffoon. That's what Carville added. And they lost congressional seats and failed to pick up state legislatures. The reason is simple. They've got a messaging problem. All right, Sean Illing. What do you make of Biden's first 100 days? Honestly, this is Carville. Honestly, we're just talking about Biden. It's very difficult to find something to complain about. And to me, his biggest attribute is that he's not into faculty lounge politics. Faculty lounge politics. You ever get the sense that people in faculty lounges and fancy colleges use a different language than ordinary people? They come up with a word like Latinx that no one else uses, or a phrase like communities of color. I don't know anyone who speaks like that. I don't know anyone who lives in a community of color. I know lots of white and black and brown people, and they all live in neighborhoods. There's nothing inherently wrong with these phrases, but this is not how people talk. This is not how voters talk. And doing it anyway is a signal that you're talking one language and the people you want to vote for you are speaking another language. This stuff is harmless in one sense, but in another sense, it's not. All right, then he goes on. This is some quote, but we'll do this. Is the problem? Huh?
I thought it was done, but finish, because I have heard this. But go ahead.
Okay. Is the problem the language or the fact that there are lots of voters who just don't want to hear about race and racial justice? That's Sean Illing, or whatever his name is. James Carville. We have to talk about race. We should talk about racial injustice. What I'm saying is we need to do it without using jargony terms or languages that's unrecognizable to most people, including black people. By the way, because it signals that you're trying to talk around them. This too school for cool shit doesn't work, and we have to stop it. That's the part I really wanted to get to. So we've had this issue that's come about not using terms like black. Congressional Black Caucus members getting up, not saying black. It becomes black and brown, black and LGBT, communities of color, marginalized people, marginalized groups, X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? It's not ever just black, because that means that when those resources are allocated, they have to go to black.
They're doing that because they know that they have to capitulate to the other side, and that will be considered offensive. Although these very same people, shout out Jasmine Crockett or whatever, especially, that they love using terms like unapologetically black. Back to Carville. I can't remember if Stephanopoulos and Carville were in together, but I do know that they both vehemently dislike each other under Bill Clinton. I don't know if you're familiar with that background in this or whatever. Hey, look, Carville's a typical leftist. This one was so spot on. It's almost like, at his point, and I'll agree with you and I'll pass the mic, he's basically like, look, man, Okay, like case in point, using Spanish. Latinx. Okay, X letter doesn't exist in Spanish, number one. Number two, the way that they see masculine and feminine, X doesn't, that is a total pandering device. And I say this based being down here, where half the population speaks Spanish and shit. Like, what the fuck is Latinx and shit? That sounds like some gringo bullshit. That's what I've heard only 1,000 times with real people. But they try, but because they know that race is what they lead with, that's why they come up with this new lingo and shit, And to me, it's flat out patronizing. But a lot of people, and this is the scary part, Big Mike, a lot of people like being pandered to. And let me end right here. There is no fucking such thing as a black and brown coalition.
Hell
Shit.
no.
Go to LA. Them MS-13 motherfuckers don't give a fuck about no hood shit. They outside of what they can obtain from it, economically and shit. And I hate that shit. I'm not trying to pit us against each other, but it ain't like, their issues are different than, air quotes, our issues. And I hate when mass media people do that. But Carville, and using his term, what do you say, faculty politics or I guess what he said is
Faculty lounge politics.
faculty lounge. I was gonna say teachers lounge politics. Like I want to say the fair thing. You know how many teachers I've gone out with here? Like I'm sick of these fucking Mexicans and shit coming in with their bullshit or whatever. Or these.
Right.
That's how people really talk. But here, I'll land my plane right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, Carville was on point with that one, man, especially and this was 2021. So the writing had been on the wall. The Democrats had time to do the things that they said they were going to do. And then now they're coming back with this total disinformation campaign, pointing finger at the other side, the grassroots, saying that we're running the disinformation campaign.
And let me add an interjection to this. Okay, fine. I have no problem with DEI in theory, but putting grossly unqualified people in because they check certain boxes. Think about this. Never mind that we found cocaine in the White House, right? Never mind we found that or whatever. That's some crazy shit, right? But, and this is on a lighter note, but it's on a bigger note. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, and you may want to type this in a separate tab. Type Sam Brinton, Brinton. He was this dude that was working for their climate control or nuclear control commission. Little white boy, rainbow dude, obviously. Man, this dude got caught multiple times stealing bags, bags at the airport, and then wearing the women's dresses of the bags that he found. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's on the president. I didn't say somebody who reports to the president. I said the damn president's commission. But hold on. Wait, there's more. The health commission has some dude coming up in there wearing a dress talking about he's a woman. Fine. You transgender people, you can be whatever you want. Is this the right message we're trying to send? And then I'll end on this. Where are the black men? Now, I know that one of Biden's top campaign guys is a black guy, a typical Van Jones type of dude. But where are the visible black guys? And it's like, we're the ones that support this stuff, and we don't even benefit from it. I can see if we were benefiting from this shit. Can I add one more thing? Just one more thing.
Go ahead.
Man, there's a brother. He used to be our business lawyer, man. And he's also from the hometown, but in Minnesota. Now he works on the Diversity and Equity Commission of Minnesota. This dude who's a deacon in the church, and he posts all these rainbow pictures. He's at the pride parades, holding the flag. And I'm in my head like, listen, I've never said these people can't just live their lives or whatever, right? But I hit him up on some real G shit. Like, he's like, dude, I'm just doing this to keep my job or whatever. I'm like, I don't mind you being in attendance in this, But you're caping real hard for this. But you be the first person to call me a coon by just saying, yes, I agree with Donald Trump's policy about getting rid of fucking NAFTA.
But
You know,
let's
go ahead.
let's be real, because I'm not for the DEI propaganda scheme. It's solely for white women and LBGers. Let's be
Ding,
100.
ding,
Yeah.
just like affirmative action was. Ding,
Yeah. Yes.
you know,
Yes.
spot on.
Hey, and that's why Clarence Thomas destroyed affirmative action. That's why he
Right.
destroyed
Right. Right.
That's exactly why he destroyed it.
If you really read his decisions, and that's who I was talking about earlier, but
Yeah,
it
the
was a
Admiral.
hostile argument. Man, that dude's decisions for the last 30 years where he writes his opinion, he is extremely thorough. And when people call him Uncle Clarence and Uncle Tom or all this, I'm like, well, first of all, you have no idea what you're talking about, Uncle Tom or whatever.
Uncle Tom was a good guy. Uncle Tom was
Right,
a good
exactly.
guy. He was a savior.
Right. You're talking about Sambo. But then I say, so give me one decision that he's made that you disagree with. Go. And it's the abortion. I said, well, he just returned. He was just one of the people who returned into the States. Go. And they cannot think of anything because it just proves the point. They've been programmed. And I'm telling you, his decisions or his opinions that he's written, it was something, not the affirmative action decision. It was one decision about businesses not, or being, I want to say he wrote the opinion of a business is not necessarily a person, but has rights and has laws. And guess what? I disagree with it. Man, this dude is citing law and all this. And I'm like, okay, this is how I got to sell my points now because he's using this previous precedence of law. And by the way, don't quote me on that was the right decision. I'm just saying he will say his reasoning, then cite previous law that somewhat mirrors this. And it's like, damn, now mind you, reading, a decision is not exactly an exciting opportunity or whatever. But I'm like, why do so many people hate him? And I realized, it's just the propaganda within him.
They hate him because he married to a white woman. But they love Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's totally off balance.
Drop bomb sound. Go ahead. You got to something else. Marcel Dixon. Oh, you had it queued up. I
got it queued up. Hey, look, man. We're gonna go out on this, man. Like I said, this is kind of what we're talking about with the delineation movement. This kind of goes into black separatism with the immigrants. Man, look at Dirty Folks in the building. What up, Dirty Folks?
Hey, Dirty Folks. Can you swap up for me? Because Dirty Folks has his own idea. One second. Big Mike, you know Dirty Folks?
I know Dirty Folks.
Okay, so yeah, Dirty Folks. I've actually met, like I said, broke bread with Big Mike for 2 days and shit, what have you. Man, come cover for me. I'm gonna listen to y'all, but I gotta get home. But no, Dirty Folks' idea on the tribe thing is what I really think we should be on.
Yeah. Well, we're about to get up out of here, man, because we're going on about 4 hours on this.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's a great thing. A brother got to eat something, man. I'm gonna have to hit Waffle House or something.
Hell no.
You gotta cook for yourself.
Hey, Westside, don't you ever say anything bad about Waffle House on this.
That shit is horrible.
No, sir, absolutely not.
I disagree with him. I do like the Waffle House.
Waffle House.
I do need Big Mike to cook.
Hey! I'll go to the Cracker Barrel for that. Cracker Barrel way better.
Cracker Barrel still exists.
Something too, though. I mean, I ain't upset with you about that.
Plus, I like the name too.
You like the name?
That's hilarious.
Man, this Westside Kulik, man. Westside Kulik in the building, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know. What are my sounds I got, man? I really wanted to use this one earlier, but nobody said anything bad.
Hey, you shut your face. If we want to hear you talk, I will shove my arm up your ass and work your mouth like a puppet. You hear me?
Pause.
Now come on in the house and say bye to Charlene and the kids.
Oh, that's an old school one right there.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, what up?
Somebody drop this fool.
All right, yeah, cool, man. I still got my stuff going. Yeah, Cracker Barrel straight. But like Tommy B say, man, Waffle House smacks, man. I think Waffle House wins. I think Waffle House wins, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Y'all
look,
talking all this so-called black empowerment. Y'all want to go down to that ghetto ass Waffle House? Hell no. No,
Ghetto?
no. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh man, West Side. What do they have? What do they have where you at? What's the all night greasy spoon where you at?
I mean, it's pretty much the same. I don't really be going. I don't be going downtown late anyway. So yeah, no.
Well, yeah,
in and out. It'll be in and out.
In and
out.
Oh, you on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
Okay. Well, hey, look, if we had a Whataburger close, because I do Whataburger too as well.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, Whataburger, all right. They all right. Well, they're getting a little bit bad now that they moved to Georgia, but that's another story.
Right.
Look, man, I think we're gonna skip over the Myron and Marcel thing tonight. It's about 20 minutes, but I think that it deserves its own timing. It deserves its own time. So that'll be my next show. And we'll go.
Refreshing my memory. Why is Marcel Dixon? I'm not trying to hate on him. I have some disagreements with him, but I do agree with him. But why is he significant? I remember he wrote something that he got. That name is very familiar, but like, what am I missing? Like
he ran against James Clyburn in South Carolina. He ran for Congress against Jim Clyburn in 2022.
That's him.
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had actually reached out to Marcel and asked him to come if he was available tonight. So I was hoping that he would come and kind of give us some backdrop on that. So maybe I could get him on here another night, and then he can give us the proper
ways for him to sell his points.
Yeah, to sell his point. I mean, he did a great job of selling his point, but I mean, like I said, we get on the immigrant thing, man. We'll be here all night.
Right. He said something though, and let me start the car. He said something that this is what I mean about the fake outrage. I'm inside of my car right now. If the sound sounds different. He had said, I say, why do y'all give a fuck about this black job? I mean, this innocuous comment. Y'all dudes, y'all are so focused or in tune or controlled by social media. And man, it was Marcel who came out on his Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but this got to me even. He had put out where the Root had put out something, and it was titled "Black Jobs. What is the GOP doing?" In other words, basically saying y'all are full of shit. And he was describing this on the Real Dana show, and I'm like, I remember this guy's name. I'm like, but he killed it. And that's what I was saying about how we're governed by propaganda, sadly. Not us, but go ahead.
I mean, we're victims of a propaganda campaign, a vicious campaign of propaganda, a vicious campaign of terror, and it's coming from the left. Meanwhile, they're the ones who are bringing people in here, millions and millions and millions of people flooding the zone and basically diluting our power. And we're voting for it.
Bomb sound.
That's a fact. And look, we're gonna do what we got to do to stop it, man. We got a few more months.
Let's add this. Let me add one more thing. Barbara Jordan spoke about this way back in the late 90s. She was a Texas congressman. Dr. Claude Anderson has been telling us this shit since the fucking 80s.
Thanks.
Where are we not getting it? I like to tie pop culture into my points. There's this great movie called, you remember it, specific to you, Big Mike, Which Way Is Up? Richard Pryor.
Pryor, yeah.
And it was what inspired Eddie Murphy to do multiple characters in his movies. And basically, excuse me, the opening of the movie is it's a bunch of black people going to an orange grove and pick oranges for the day. And I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? Well, we got too big for picking oranges. But guess who did start picking oranges? And guess who said, you know what, we're going to take this orange grove thing, we're going to then create our own thing based off of this or whatever, they weren't listening to the Mexican politicians at the time, or whatever. Maybe they didn't have people in their ear. My point was, we had, as a collective, a point of things that, yeah, hey, do I want my kids picking oranges? Absolutely not. But if it's going to build up something or whatever that'll lead to an end, and let's be clear, there's been plenty of black successes of, you know, we start off in the field, we got into corporate America and this, but we stopped, you know, doing the business thing, and then we focus on, no, if we get into the government, no. And remember I said way earlier about the Asians. They focus on the economics. And now the economics is a little bit different to whereas, you know, dare I say, we're swimming from behind. They're on the IT thing or semiconductors or things like that. And I want us to get back that because it's in our spirit and this is what we do, you know. But sorry for this rambling at that point.
Oh, you good, man. You good, man. I appreciate your input. But fellas,
you know, my apologies from earlier. I'll let you get your Waffle House date, you know.
yeah, man. I'm gonna have to go jump on that. West Side, what you got in closing?
Oh man. Well, I mean, you know, we have to do. I got to talk to you on the back end about this because I think for right now, when we talk about race, a lot of Negroes and Negrettes can't handle it. And we all know race ain't real. I don't give a. I mean, I am the number one conductor, not number one, but I know a lot about that right there. Now there's others that know more than me, but I don't. Y'all can't box in the ring with me or not. Y'all can't. And then I'm gonna say this: like, who you marry generationally predicts what's gonna happen to your bloodline. So if you marry a white woman, y'all have a child, they marry a white, keep going. So what I'm saying is, like, we can talk all this black empowerment, all this kind of bullshit like that, but who you marry is the outcome of who you gonna be. Now, anybody got a problem with that statement? I don't know what else to tell you. It's about genetics at the end of the day. It's not about economics. It's about genetics and DNA and how you control that. That's the fight. So if you can control your genetics, you can control your land, then you can talk about economics and blah, blah, blah. But if you can't get that in the rap, it's a wrap. We're look what happened to the Tasmanian people. Look what happened to the Aborigines and so forth and so on.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
Good point. Man, Sir Tice, West Side, I appreciate y'all for joining. Sir Tice, I appreciate you for joining on the fly too, man.
No doubt. We haven't talked in like 2.5 years, and I saw you. The algorithms have fucked with me and shit, but we in touch. You got my email, so let's just stay in touch. Or I'll just get you, at worst, I'll hit Big Mag and get your info.
Oh, yeah, Big Mag got my information, man. He got me. Hey, fellas, look, man, in closing, is black nationalism becoming a thing in 2024? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that if you give this thing another 30 years, you're going to see a different type of American black person. And I do emphasize American black person. This is Big Mike, man, Westside Kulik, man. I appreciate y'all for joining us. Sir Tice, look, we finna get up out of here, man, and we'll be back, man. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.